Leche. 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 Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at. The bottles getting nippy up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, lead the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, September 1st to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. It's September 1st. You know what that means? Baseball will soon be somewhat in our rear view mirror. Although we're coming off a 4-1 plus 2.85 unit day, back in double-digit units positive on the season. And football is fucking here, baby. Football. Look, I love baseball. I love the analytics. But fuck, man. When a receiver's coming over the flat, safety fucking locks eyes on him and puts his shoulder through the man's chest, it's fucking exciting. And I'm really excited about today's show because we have 6 games that we're breaking down in NCAA football. And we have Daby Cab, who's our star of our Friday and Saturday live bet streams, here with us to break down these games. He's also opening up his college football account here on the show, which we will be tracking. We had a very good year in college football last year, which I believe, other than the bowl season of 2 years ago, which was insane for me, 27-9 against the spread. I think it was my first full season publicly where I was strong throughout, and I want to do that again. Now, I don't feel I really am going to lean on the experts we have here at Pub Sports Radio, the experts we have on the chat in college football. But I enjoyed capping these games, and it took a long time to cap these. We picked 6. Tomorrow, Babano and I will pick a few as well. We're not going to cap each and every one of them. But I'm pumped up. I'm excited. NHL, a month away. NBA, 6 weeks away. Football's here. Basically, I'm not going to leave the house from September through January. And everybody knows it. I don't really call my friends outside of the people I cap with anymore. I've barely spoken to any friends other than the ones I cap with. They're there. So who cares? Who cares about those? Who cares about the past life before I capped 24/7 all day, every day? So they're used to me not calling them, and I'll continue that. And it's these guys that we cap with that we will spend every fucking waking minute getting that fucking cash. And I always tell you guys that the stakes are high. The stakes are high. And they are. They are. And we've had a really nice run. It's been like a 6 or 7 month really nice run. And it's not just because of the nice run, but it helped. We have a house. I'm not in it right now. You'll see me in it very soon. We're going to keep this apartment. Nasty Nate said, why are you keeping the apartment? And I can understand why, but the Toronto prices are just ludicrous. And even when we went down to Costa Rica, we kept this apartment because we're locked in in a cheap price. If we left right now, it'd be double the price. So, yeah, we're going to keep this fucking dump. Keep it in the family.
Let me rent it.
We're going to keep this fucking dump in the family. But the stakes are just going to get higher and higher and higher. The importance for us to succeed is paramount. There's really nothing more important in my life than to succeed in capping, because if I succeed in capping, everything else, it just trickles down to everything in my life. So football season's here, baby. And we've had a very strong 53.2% ROI plus 2.18%. If you offered me that at the beginning of the year in baseball season, I would take it. I do feel like we're coming into our own in MLB. And so I think that we're going to improve year after year after year after year. Shout out to all the cappers that are with us. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Billy, free to go. Oh, got kneecapped yesterday. Time to turn around. I don't like hearing that. We'll get you turn around, Billy. AJ says ROI for the month of August only down 2 units, which isn't too bad. Hopefully September will be profitable with the NFL coming back. Yes, AJ, let's get that. Let's have a winning month. I like that. Brian Watson says, Jimmy Morning, great call on the Diamondbacks total. That was 100% and completely Moose money. So much so that I really should have bet it. I didn't even bet it. That was part of our friends and family parlay, so I guess I sort of bet it. But that was 100% Moose money, who was all over that total. He liked it the night before at 9. He knew it would go up to 9.5. I believe he was talking with LJ about that spot, and it was gorgeous. Look at that. There's LJ 4-0 on best bets and Serena Cash. I love it. I love it. James S. J. Dub. Stella Girl says September 1st, a dove hunting opener and the beginning of NCAA week 1. I love it. I love it. Stella Girl. Michael Evelina says new month, new money. Let's get it. Control your vessel. Nice to see him. Says after last night, I'm taking a break from baseball and concentrating on the college football card. That's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. And there he is. There is Moose Money. Speak of him. He appears. Great job. Great job yesterday, Moose. Love capping with you. There's Damon Santori, Billy Friedrich, Jay Peasy. Stella Girl says West Virginia, Pittsburgh under. I haven't bet anything. I have a plan for 4 of the 6 games. I have a plan as how to. Actually, I'd say 5 of the 6. Because the more I capped, the more I was like, good God, the Mexico State Aggies are terrible. And then you have this issue between Kill and Fleck. So maybe I have 5 of 6 games that I would like to move on. Elio ready to get to work. Cheshire Cat says, where did the term low baggers come from? Simple. Peter Loshak is the low, and I'm the bag. And it didn't matter that when we got separated because we looked up to him. And we all of the fundamentals come from Peter. When I started, I was blown away at how this industry was so fraudulent. I couldn't believe it. I was just so blown away. I was like, nobody around here wants to be a great gambler. They just want to be a great tout. I was like, this is so fucked up. I couldn't believe the state of the industry. And then here was Pete, the shining light, who was completely transparent, even though it could be embarrassing at times. And that's who we all looked up to. So he's the low, I'm the bag. That's how our low baggers came from. Michael Irvelina says all over the over 56, this NCAAF state game. Okay, that's not going to be broken down today. That's not going to be broken down today from us. And I'm pretty caught up in just these games right now. But I love hearing what you're on, Michael Irvelina. Animals Luxury, Bo Jackson, Jay Biz, Mr. Always Profit in the house. And Topset says, shout out to my dad who would have been 87 today. I would not be successful at this if not for him. Isn't it true? There's a reason why we all got here. And usually it's our fathers. Fathers were gamblers. And that shit's in the blood, man. That shit's in the blood. I worry very much for Carter. And Ella less so. But Carter, I worry very much.
Should I be worried as a first-generation gambler? Am I doing something to my bloodline right now?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. And it's good. It's good. You're not a booze bag, so it's all good. It's all good. Shout out to all you guys. Von Polis says, Serena Williams put money in your pocket. I love that. Mike M. in the house. Happy birthday to Elio's dad, and much love to him. Great point, James S. Way to put that in there. Happy birthday. All right, Barbarito, Alex Gagnon. Stella Girl says, yeah, that is my lean. I think Pittsburgh will pound the rock and dominate line time of possession. Kind of a grinding smash mouth game. I love that. I can't wait to talk about that. London Port says you're running hot. I'm not really because we got up to 13 and almost 14 units. And then we fell back down 7 plus 7. So, it was a good day yesterday. That's what it was. A good day. And we want to keep that. Slatsy says, tailed Sammy Comer and is winning tennis parlay. Taint rebounds big time. Can't wait on NFL. Yes. And there's Jay Biz with a 1999 dono. Thank you, Jay Biz. That means so much to us. We're not going to ask you guys ever for anything. So it means a ton. And, this whole company is the dream of one man. It's Jeff Slaughter. I mean, this isn't it's not some huge company behind this. It's one man. It's great Jeff Slaughter who's done all this. So it means a ton. So thank you, Jay Biz, for that. And we do ask one thing. Don't be late for the contest, says Topset. We do want you to be in the contest with us. That's going to be really fun. Although my mom and I have not signed up yet, but we will. I promise you we will sign up. And how about that 4-unit Padres bet? Nasty Nate, you're a beast, buddy. You're a beast. And your Red Sox ruined our parlay, not because they won, but because they put up those runs. There's Sanka in the house. By the way, Sanka, Kenny Lawler, the top wide receiver for the Elks, is not playing, and the market is not moving off the 12.5. I still am comfortable with my 12.5, but I'm going up against Latsy, who's having a much better season than me, and there's every reason to be a little nervous. Every reason to be a little nervous. All right, we got to get to work here. Saturated. Oh, that's music to Jose's ears. He loves that. He loves that. And Joe Yurkovich, who's running Saw, says, we will make it a September to remember. Wine Time Sports, and that's Wine Time Sports is now on Twitter. Follow Wine Time Sports. God, I love his insights that he's been rocking with us. I love it so much. And B-Lab says, do you remember what the second spot with full line value was yesterday? Yeah, I'll have to go over that. But I'll get you. I'll hit you up, B-Lab. I'll hit you up, B-Lab. Look at Nasty Nate, up 12 units. And Billy Frieden says, give me the Chippewas and the points. Well, let's get to work. Saturate said there's some big spreads in college football today that I have a hard time believing get covered. Well, yeah, I mean, I can understand that first week. I think that first halves will be a spot that we might want to. You have to think that Ibrahim, I mean, look, we all remember what happened in week 1 last year with his injury. You have to think that if they're up 25 or 30, I think the first half's got to be the play. I would take him off the field. All right, shout out to all you guys. I love seeing you all here. And Bill McDonald says, Diamondbacks good dog play today. We're going to start with NCAA football, then get into MLB. There's razor sharp picks in the house. And there he is, Slatsy. Red Blacks +5. I came so close to betting that, but how bad is Machocha that he can't come in off the bye and have them ready to play? And then one of the reasons why I haven't bet it yet, and now it's down to 4.5 and probably down to 4, is doesn't it feel like with Ottawa winning big in Edmonton that we're buying Ottawa at the wrong time? I mean, that's why all the sharps were on the Red Blacks last week, was because it was a buy low opportunity. I'm not sure, and I look forward to break that down tomorrow. Top set says, stop doing coke. That's not our issue with Jose. Jose has no oh, look at that. Hit him over the head with an 1800 pick 3, says Razor. I love that. This show starts at 11 a.m. Eastern, Tuesday through Friday. Mark Tequila says, can't wait for Fresno football starting tonight. Line has gone from -34 to -40.5. There will be a wagon this year. Yes, we are not capping that game. We let that game go. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. And look at that. Don't ask, don't tell. What a guy. Always has our back. Says, make money, make money. I love it. Don't ask, don't tell. Thank you, man. You've had our back since day one. It truly means a ton. Smith Legacy said, are we still waiting for emails to log in for the Capper contest? You can log in right away, and we're going to send everybody out the emails. You'll have them way in advance, so don't worry about that. Everything will be set up. We have our own page. It's all taken care of. So don't. If you are waiting for an email right now, Jose, we'll have that locked down with everybody very, very soon, right?
Yeah, if you haven't gotten an email, because emails are being sent, we could just resend it if you haven't gotten it yet.
Okay, cool. Well, let's make sure we get that for Smith Legacy. I mean, we're going to have a ton of people in the contest. And there he is, Dutch Boy Fresh, star of the Daily Sesh, and will be the star of our Thursday night football, which opens up next week, 1 week away. Dutch will be live. He will be hosting our live bet stream for the opening night of the NFL season. And as of Tuesday, I expect to be shooting in the new house. That's the plan here. West Virginia first half +5.5. Slam it and rejoice with me tomorrow, says Mike. Okay, well, let's get to work. Let's let Big Joe Betts lead us, and let's fucking go, baby. Football season is among us. And thank you, Barry Smith. We got us out of Parkdale. It was more important for the kids to get out of Parkdale. I mean, who cares really what happened? Once you're 42, I mean, who cares if you're in a low-income neighborhood? Fuck, who cares? You create your own life. But the kids, we'd like to get the kids out. We got the kids out. All right. Ronnie and Burgess says, I'm watching the movement in Louisiana Tech Mizzou very closely. Let's welcome your guest here on today's show. He is our host of Friday and Saturday live bet streams, NCAA football live bet streams. Saturday, Notre Dame, Ohio State. It's a big one. It's a big one. And he's here to rock with us right now. Also, he stars in the Daily Sesh every day at 4:20 p.m. Eastern alongside Dutch Boy Fresh. Please welcome to the show, Daby Cab in the house. Cab, how are you, my man?
Oh, good, man. Good. You have no idea how excited I am. I know week 0 started football last week. That's cool, man. But week 1's where it's at. Week 0, everybody's always like, hey, why do they call it week 0? Because it's shitty football games. Week 1 is where it starts. I'm ready for this action, man.
I'm ready for it as well. And, these Thursdays, there's going to be we're lucky. We're lucky to have a big Thursday card here with some marquee matchups. Let's get right to work. We open at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Central Michigan Chippewas, the Chips, coming off a really good season, 9-4 last year, at number 12 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys, a team that's very near and dear to Jose Bouquet's heart. So we will bring Jose Bouquet onto the show. We're at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and there he is, pumped up for his boys. Last year's Big 12 champion.
Oh, are you really going to cut me like that, Jimmy? Are you really going to cut me like that, my man?
Yeah, because we watched the game and bet on it, and I had Baylor, and that play at the goal line was awesome.
You're going to cut me like that already? Fuck.
Hoping to get Mike Gundy's 150th win here. We last saw them in the 12th game of the season, 37-35 over Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. Spencer Sanders is back for his 4th season, but he's lost some major weapons. Gone is top running back Jaylen Warren, who went undrafted, signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Top receiver Tay Martin went undrafted, signed with the 49ers. He's expected to be on the practice squad. He will be replaced by wide receivers Jaden Bray and Brennan Presley. They do return 10 starters. Let's take a quick look right off the top at the market movement, because it is moving very quickly towards the Pokes. We have it opening up. Oh, shoot. Sorry, press the wrong button there. Sorry, let's get this. Sorry, here we go. Sorry, I'm still working with this. There we go. Here we go. All right, let's take a look.
I can't believe that you broadsided me like that to begin this segment. I'm seriously injured just right now. I feel like I just got spat on.
Let's stay focused.
Jose, I got to say this. I had a decent sized bet on the Baylor money line. So as bad as that hurts, Jimmy, that was such a great moment. Like when they made that goal line stop, oh my God, it felt so good.
Let's stay focused. Oh, it's a spreadsheet play today is in. And look, we got Marlon Z in the house. We don't see enough of Marlon Z. Thank you for joining us, Marlon. Great to see you in the chat. All right. Let's stay focused, guys. I see you got your poke bat. Okay, let's stay focused here.
Oh, my God. You called a bat, too? Oh, my God.
We open with the Chips at plus 21. They got down to plus, I guess now, okay, so they went down to plus 20.5. Then they got up to plus 21. I guess there actually that did open at plus 22 at some spots. So I guess I'm wrong. I guess it is moving towards the Chips. At 9 p.m., it moved to 20.5. No, it's not. It's back at 22. My bad. Sorry. It's just so many line movements. It's sitting at 22 right now, and it was juiced to minus 116 as of yesterday at 4:39 p.m. So the juice has come back 5 cents, but it's at plus 22. From a total standpoint, opened up at 58, and it is still at 58. We've seen it go all the way up to 60 and come down. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. And we have 20,541 tickets in. 55% of the tickets are on Central Michigan and 79% of the cash. And the market is moving towards Oklahoma State. So do with that what you will. 38% of tickets are on the under and 63% of the cash is on the under. So sharp money looks to be on the under. Oklahoma State was led by a very good defense. 5th nationally, allowing 297.9 yards per game. And the defense, and I know we'll hear more from Jose what his feelings are about this, is expected to take a step back. Jim Knowles left the team to take the same job at Ohio State, and only 4 starters return on defense. The Cowboys led the nation in sacks per game last year, and a lot of that production is back. Colin Oliver led the Big 12 with 11.5 sacks as a true freshman. He's ready to rock. Chippewas coming off their best season in a long time, 9-4, last seen defeating Washington State in the Sun Bowl, their first bowl game in 10 years. The season completely changed when they gave the starting quarterback duties over to Daniel Richardson, 7-2 as a starter, but he's lost his top two receivers. Khalil Pimpleton was signed by the Lions, but has since been waived. He's in talks to join the Giants. Central Michigan's Dallas Dixon is going to be Richardson's primary receiver, 701 yards, 8 touchdowns last year, but it's all about Sweet Lou Nichols. Ran for 2,186 yards, or total yards, 1,848 on the ground, and a little over 300 through the air. And they returned 7 starters offensively, their whole offensive line, Sweet Lou, their quarterback, and Central Michigan offensive lineman Keegan Smith has hurt his knee again. It's going to hurt them badly. He's a big part of their offensive line. So it's going to require surgery. All right, let's get to work here. And it is your boys in action, Jose. So let's hear what you think about your Cowboys today.
Yeah, you really shook me. You really shook me there. I'm not going to lie. I'm still shook.
How about the last time in 2016 when these two teams played? How's that make you feel? Or were you
No,
like 7?
we'll talk about that first because I brought something to show everyone. Are we in the trust tree right now? Because I don't know if we're in the trust tree after that. After that comment, Cap, and after your comment, Jimmy, I don't know if we're in the trust tree. Are we in the trust tree?
I don't know. It feels like the trust trees where your uncle touches you. So I don't know.
No,
about
I feel like I'm getting touched right now. You guys are dominating me, just slapping me around, all this stuff. I'll show you guys the picture. Why do I like Oklahoma State? I went there my freshman year of high school or freshman year of college, whatever. You know what happened my sophomore year of college? I did not go to Oklahoma State because there's a lot of money to go there, and the fucking Central Michigan game happened. So I'll show you guys these lovely, embarrassing pictures of me. Here's me in college. Look at this. Look at this. Look at me, how nice I am. Look at that. Exactly. And then that top corner of me with my paddle, this same very paddle is when Oklahoma State's getting fucking dominated by Oklahoma and Baker Mayfield's fucking dancing around. And
You're in college right there on the bottom left?
Yes, all these are in college, yes.
No.
Okay, whatever. We'll continue on. I've been watching this football team play a lot of games. They have hurt me they hurt me more than any of my sports teams. And the Red Sox, they get my hopes up and they fucking shiv me in the back like those cocksuckers they are. And Jim Knowles did something that I thought could never be done in Oklahoma State. I never expected that Oklahoma State would have a good defense for as long as I watched them. They have been score 40, give up 35 for my entire existence watching them. And now he goes to Ohio State. That's why I'm a big Ohio State guy this year. I think they're going to win the national championship. And we get Mason Jones from Auburn, former Vanderbilt coach. I'm like, I read some stuff and it's like, oh, you made a transition fine. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I've got my guard up. You said that about my man, I think it's Colin, I forgot his last name already. His name's Colin Martin, I believe. He gained like 25 pounds, whatever. He's going to be great this year. But I'm not going to lay any kind of large spreads with Oklahoma State. I will not do it. Central Michigan, like we said, this was the rematch, whatever, of Mike Gundy being an absolute buffoon, and then MAC referees not doing their job and literally getting suspended for it, giving up that Hail Mary horde. I almost threw myself off a balcony that day. That was truly horrible. And that was Mason Rudolph too, so never forget. But I'm going to say this now. I will take Central Michigan plus the 21-22, no problem. Because that motherfucker, Spencer Sanders is my least favorite Oklahoma State quarterback I've had the pleasure of watching. Taylor Cornelius of Elks fame, that guy, though he's a fucking choke artist, that guy at least, did the damn thing and had accurate passes. Whatnot. I don't know what the fuck Spencer Sanders is going to do from a Saturday to Saturday basis. He turns the ball over a shitload. We're flipping over a whole offense with fucking that shitty running back who can't get 4 more inches to win the game. What an asshole. And I'll say this, Oklahoma State has a sneaky good record of running back. So if they can run the football, then Central Michigan's fucked. But I don't know if they can yet, and their lines got flipped over. I'll just say this. Chris Carson, Justice Hill, Chuba Hubbard. Those are the last 3 running backs for Oklahoma State, all in the pros right now, except for Chris Carson, RIP. But I don't know if Dominic Richardson, who is supposed to get the milk of the carries, is going to be that guy. And I apparently read there's a 6'3", 230 running back named Ollie on the squad now. I'm a little excited about that, but I'm not laying any kind of prices with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're a fucking team that fucking breaks me over the coals all the time. But I do expect them to go 12-2 and win the Big 12 this year. That being said.
Well, it's a great game to start with.
The end.
We went 0 to 100 real quick. Central Michigan plus 22 at minus 111 available right now at Pinnacle. And that seems to be where the sharp money. Well, it's with the reverse lineman. It's line movement. It's tricky. So let's hear what our star of our live college football bet streams has to say. Daby Cab, take it away. Your first game in the college.
Okay, so
year.
you guys both kind of touched on it. Our coaching matchup here, we got Jim McElwright and Mike Gundy, and it's not the first time they've met. Jose touched on that play that Central Michigan shouldn't have got after time expired, and they threw the Hail Mary. So yeah, here's the thing: the players, they don't remember that shit. That was 2016. Gundy, he remembers it for sure, but the players, they don't. That doesn't matter to them, right? You already touched on Nichols. He's in the backfield for Central Michigan. He's a very, very solid back. You got Richardson at QB. He came in a couple games into the season last year. He was 7-2. He has a lot of talent. He's a good quarterback. My biggest problem with this CMU team is they're losing their 2 tackles. Okay, those are very, very, very important spots on your offensive line. And for me in college football, it's the lines and the quarterback. Those are the most important things that I like to look at. And even though Oklahoma State has a lot of moving parts, it's going to be a dominant defensive line. And so you've got a dominant defensive line coming up against a line that lost 2 tackles and is a little weak. And, so with all that being said, it sounds like I'd be leaning Oklahoma State, but I'm not, man. 21.5 points is just too much, especially with the reverse line movement. I honestly could see Oklahoma State winning this game by 21 points. And anybody who took the 21.5 loses by the hook. I could see it being, 42-21. I could also see it being 35-21. I look a little bit more towards an under on this game because I think that, I think Central Michigan, they'll be able to do something. They'll be able to do a little bit. They'll be able to kill a little bit of a clock. But as the game wears on, I think that Oklahoma State being, the bigger team, the Big 12 team, I think that they're gonna win this game. There's no doubt that I think Oklahoma State's gonna win. Okay, I don't think 2016 is gonna happen again, but I just don't think they can cover 21.5. That's a lot of fucking points for me to get. Like you said with Spencer Sanders, man, he's meh. I'm not super high on Spencer Sanders either. So I'm not betting this game, guys. I have a couple bets that I've made. I would lean Central Michigan with the points, and I'd lean on the under here if I was going to make a move.
I think that the alarming market situation here is that you have a huge amount of tickets in, 20,641. You have a little, just ticket-wise, 55% of tickets, 80% of the cash on the chips, and yet Pinnacle's saying, here, we want all your chips money.
Yeah.
I do not trust Oklahoma State to cover the big spread, but why would they be doing that? It's enough. It's enough for me to not move on Central Michigan, which was initially the plan. It certainly seems like sharp money is on the under. You said you had a lean towards the under. Why are you not betting the under? What is it if you don't trust Spencer Sanders and we know Central Michigan is going to try to keep the ball out of Oklahoma State's hands? We know that they have the perfect truck in Lou Nichols to do that with. What's keeping you off the under?
Those tackles, man. Because like you were just talking about, in order to eat this clock and to control some time, this line is going to have to hold up. And I'm worried about Oklahoma State's defensive line going against this Central Michigan line with 2 new tackles. I mean, I know it's just 2 out of the 5 people, but your tackles are crucial in your line. And I got to see what these kids can do. I got to see if they can step up and hold the front line, because if Oklahoma State's going to be blowing through the whole game, it doesn't matter how good Nichols is. If Oklahoma State's getting, 5 yards back in the backfield every play, well, his talent goes right out the window, right?
Yeah, no, I hear that. Oklahoma State's team total 38.5 juice to the over at Pinnacle.
And that being said, too, because I saw in the chat over here, Mike N said they play no defense at Oklahoma State. Like, really, the defensive line is the only thing that I'm talking about that I expect to be good for Oklahoma State. They're not a great defense. I agree with you on that. The defensive line is the only part that I'm looking at. I might get on this before the end of the night. I might get on this under. It's my top lean that's not on my card.
All right, there you have it. I think the under will be a play for me. I feel like I'm taking Central Michigan off of my card. I plan to bet it, but if there's so many, if we're talking about 20,000 tickets and 80% of the cash is on the chips on the spread, why would the market not be moving in their direction? So it's just that doesn't make sense to me. And I'm going to trust that at this point, although I don't want Oklahoma State. We have Jose Bouquet opening up his NCAA football account with Central Michigan plus 22. All right, we move on, and Jose will be back to join us for Ball State, Tennessee. Is that right?
Yes, I have much less energy and much less to say there, so don't worry.
Okay, we love it. I love it. We started with a bang. I love it. Let's keep rolling. Next up for us, West Virginia Mountaineers at number 17, Pittsburgh Panthers. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we have the backyard brawl, and it's been a while since we had one, and these Panthers look really good to me. They look really good to me.
I don't know. I'm glad you said that, man. I feel like it's very, very popular to take West Virginia in the points right here, and I did the opposite. So, we'll talk about it, but
let's talk about it. And I think that I'm going to end up being right with you. The issue, though, is what we're using in MLB, or what I've been doing in MLB, is being really working. Not being too upset when you miss the line move. In college football, it's not going to work. And here, you could have got 6.5 for a month, or maybe a month. You could have got for a full month. You could have got 6.5, a month and a half. It moves to 7. I guess so. I guess take the month away. It moves to. There was even on the 13th of August, you could still get 6.5. Then it was 7 for like 2-3 weeks. Now it's 7.5. And that's a big number. That's getting over an important number. This opened up at 54, and it got all the way down to 51. It's right now at 52, and it's quite heavily juiced to the under. So I imagine there's a lot of 51.5s and 51. Fanatical Jim says Pitt lost Pickett, their top wide receiver, their offensive coordinator. Hard to trust first game out. Saturated says Pitt brings back 74% of their guys. West Virginia 56. There's Josh Point. It's been too long.
Yeah, Pitt's got 74% returning on offense and 75% returning on defense, including their entire front five on both sides, which is a huge deal to me.
A huge deal. And if you've watched Slovis in any interviews, this guy just looks so confident and so ready for this opportunity. Let's take a look at the cash flow here in this one. Full line value. There's only one team with a full line value, and that's the Pittsburgh Panthers. 34,550 tickets in, 55% of the tickets, 78% of the spread. Then you have 75% of tickets and 98%. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. I said spread instead of 78% of the cash. So 55% of the tickets, 78% of the cash on the points with Pittsburgh. Then 75% of tickets, 98% of cash on the under. It's a lot of money on the under.
That is.
Okay, let's break this down. This ACC champions start the year at home. They won 11 games last year. Kenny Pickett gone, 20th overall to the Steelers. Keaton Slovis here. And Slovis could turn this into being a first-round pick next year. They, as Daby mentioned, they returned their entire offensive line. Jordan Addison is gone. His 1,593 yards and 17 touchdown passes. That was mentioned here in the chat by Fanatical Jim. He did sign an NIL deal with United Airlines, so great move. Jared Wayne is the leading returning receiver. And then they have Mumpfield coming over from Akron. He was a freshman All-American last year at Akron. So they returned 14 of 22 starters for Narduzzi. and they have Kalia Cansey, one of the best defensive linemen in the country. West Virginia finished last year 6-7. This is Neil Brown's 4th year at the helm. 9 returning starters for the Mountaineers. JT Daniels takes over as starting quarterback. All 5 starters on its offensive line. But that offensive line was god-awful last year. Now, of course, we expect them to improve with the continuity and all coming back. But they gave up the most sacks in the Big 12 last season, and their running attack was the worst in the Big 12.
Yeah, and the most tackles per loss, most sacks and tackles per loss. They were not good.
Why is this not a Pittsburgh Panthers double up? Am I just simplifying things too much? Obviously, I'm high on the squad. I don't see why I don't bet them first half and full game. Now, of course, the issue with first half is that, it's more than a field goal, but it was always going to be.
So for me, Jimmy, though, what kept me off first half was Graham Harrell, and that's a silly thing, but this offense is unknown. I think and we talked about the first 5 and on the starting lines on both sides coming back for Pitt. I think Pitt wears them down. Their new offensive coordinator is going to run the ball. Shout out to Stella Girl. I think she put it in the chat saying he's 60-40 run throw. And the one thing I don't like about Pitt is they've done a couple interviews and they've kind of bashed on Mark Whipple, which I don't understand because Mark Whipple did great and their offense did great. It's cool. You're going to run the ball. I just don't agree with bashing somebody that left, but outside of that, I think this team wears this West Virginia team down. And I think by the end of the game, maybe later in the 3rd, maybe in the 4th, I think we get a 2-score lead and we can hold it.
Yeah, I just think Panthers.
You might, yeah, and honestly, I would if I had to pick a first half. Yeah, I'd take Pitt. I wouldn't take West Virginia here. But like I said, Graham Harrell. This is a little cool thing I'll spit out about him real quick. He was a senior at Tech when I was a freshman, and he was roommates with one of my teammates on the baseball team. So I got to know the guy a little bit. Hung out with him a few times. So he's from Tech. He grew up through that era. He's going to be an air raid. He's going to be throwing the ball. He's going to be speedy offense. He's going to have like a quick offense. But again, only 48% returning production, for this West Virginia team, even with JT Daniels in the backfield. What are they going to do with that line? Like you said, the most sacks, the most tackles per loss, worst in the Big 12 last year. And we've got a starting 5 for Pitt coming back that is fucking savages. Okay. Like these guys are savage. They were fun to watch last year outside of Pickett. They played hard. They're big. They're aggressive. I'm on Pitt here. I got them at -7. I still endorse the 7.5. If somebody is just looking to tail, you can buy a half a point and probably get it at -120.
Yeah. Let's see what it would cost here. If you want the 7, yeah, -120. Is that what you would like to make official here for the show? -7 at -120.
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and go with that.
All right. So Cab is in. Pitt -7, -120. Cab is in. All right. Saturated says I'm unloading on Pitt and Purdue. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Just another stat that I wanted to say. So last year, Pitt was number 1 in the ACC against the run and number 2 in the nation in sacks. Okay. So in the nation, not in the ACC. Number 1 against the run in the ACC, number 2 in the nation in sacks. And like I said, we are returning 75% of this defense, including the entire front 5. So yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to be really, really good. And how often do we need to see JT Daniels fail before we never see him again?
I'm so tired of seeing him at new schools.
Yeah. So, and Neil Brown has given us no reason to trust what the Mountaineers are doing. So, I do think the offensive line will be better, and that's an easy thing to say for West Virginia. But it just feels like.
Well, it has to be better, right?
But it feels like Pennsylvania is going to go nuts for this football team.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking this place is going to be on fire tonight. So,
Johnny Gunn says Pitt seems to be very public. It isn't the case. 56% of tickets with 34,815 in. West Virginia is always going to have a following. Always going to have people backing them. Always. So, I think in this situation it helps us here. It just moved to 55-45. So
yeah, that's what I thought was crazy is how many people I noticed that actually were betting West Virginia.
And not only that, but the West Virginia is taking most of the money on the money line. And you'll often find that with dogs in the first week of the season.
Yeah.
But 44% of the tickets, 68% of the cash. All right, there is Big Show picks. Just got done smacking down the loud honking Canadians. All right, so I'm going to move on to Panthers here. It makes me nervous, when Mike M says take Virginia plus 5.5 first half. So it makes me nervous, but and National West Virginia and over for a teaser. Okay, there you go. That is game 2. Let's talk Ball State Cardinals, Tennessee Volunteers, and bring Jose Bouquet back onto the show. We're in Knoxville, Tennessee for this one.
Wait,
let's
Jose, you have a play on this one?
Oh, damn right.
Yeah, I've got inside information, motherfucker.
Since when do you bet NCAA football like for real, like you do baseball?
Yeah,
Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not confident enough to have my own show every day on it, but I fucking dabble.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go. Good. That's why I look forward to it.
Does not make me legit.
Oh, the
Am I
paddle.
a capper after this.
Oh no, the paddle makes you look legit. This opened up with Ball State plus 31. They're now plus 35 and a half. 31 and a half. 35. So a 4-point move towards Tennessee. This total.
That's what I was going to say. If you wanted to bet Tennessee, I'm sorry, but you missed your chance. That's how I feel about this.
Yeah, this is the spot where if you want to bet Tennessee, you can only bet them first half at this point. But we'll talk about it. This total opened up at 68. Now it's 66 and a half. After that incredible 2020 that came out of nowhere during the pandemic year, Ball State goes 7-1, win the MAC and a bowl game, and they had very high expectations in 2021, and I think they cost a lot of people a lot of fucking money.
So
and
bad.
It didn't make sense because they returned so much of their talent. It was very confusing. Drew Plitt gone. He went undrafted, was signed by the Bengals, and was waived by them last week. He's replaced by John Paddock, who will be making his first start. Justin Hall, God, the guy did everything for the Cardinals. He gone. All-time leader in receptions and receiving yards. He signed with the Raiders, and he unfortunately was waived on Monday. So Ja'Shawn Jackson returns at wide receiver after leaving the Cardinals in receptions and receiving yards. Johannes Tyler returns after recording a team-high 6 touchdown catches. And they bring in a transfer from Vanderbilt, Amir Abdur-Rahman. So Carson Steele back. He led Ball State last year as a freshman, rushing yards 891, 6 touchdowns. Brandon Martin is going to be back. He is their best linebacker, and he barely played in 2021, was hurt for most of the year. He was MAC Co-Defensive Player of the Year in 2020, so he's going to help. That is Ball State. Let's talk about Josh Heupel era, year 2 of it. A lot of excitement around this squad. 8 starters returned from an offense that averaged 39.3 points per game. Hendon Hooker had a big 2021, 68% of his passes, 31 touchdown passes, just 3 picks, led all SEC quarterbacks with 181.4 passer rating. Cedric Tillman is back. That's a big deal. He was SEC's leading returning receiver. And they bring in Brew McCoy. 5-star recruit, big guy. 4 starters to an offensive line return. Now, they did allow an SEC worst 44 sacks. They returned 3 of their top 4 rushers. Jabari Small, 792 rush yards and 9 touchdowns is back. And Tennessee's defense was bad last year. They have Jeremy Banks, an edge rusher, Byron Young back. They were capable of getting pressure. Their problem was in the secondary. And in that secondary, Alontae Taylor was drafted in the 2nd round by the Saints, and Theo Jackson was picked in the 6th round by the Titans. They're both gone. Jackson was waived on Tuesday, sadly.
It's so hard to play defense on these teams like Tennessee that move the ball as fast and score as much as they do. You are on the field for so much time.
Yeah, I hear that, but there was clearly issues with their secondary last year that can't possibly be fixed. Now, well, I shouldn't say they can't. They'd be surprised to see if they're fixed, but to expect John Paddock to be able to do anything with those problems is ridiculous. Let's hear Jose Bouquet, and you've piqued our interest, Jose. Take it away here, Jose. Ball State, Tennessee.
if you watch the show for the whole time you're here, you will know my connection with Ball State. I have a friend, a very good friend.
Who goes to school there?
No, he's a defensive coach for Ball State.
Okay.
I'm
He
taking
told you
Ball
they
State
suck.
plus the points. I ride them. We're going to do it. I also don't hate the under here. I don't have much to say besides I know one of the coaches. He actually told me that Tennessee's offense is like one of our friends playing Madden. And I know for a fact that this coach sucks ass at Madden. So I'm still going to take Ball State plus the points. And I'm not going to go on a long rant like I did about my Oklahoma State Cowboys. Go Cardinals.
So are you betting the Cardinals because your friend told you that this Ball State team is much better than people?
No.
But
Yeah, did he
No.
tell you like take the points or like, hey, we're gonna be
no,
good?
I won't
or
ask
is he
that.
just
But
there?
did he say this team is better than people think they are, or are you
No.
betting this because you're like
I'm
other
betting them
friends
because last year they were horrible. Drew Plitt was a disgrace. He's a terrible quarterback, first of all. So him leaving is a godsend. The defense was always pretty good last year, and I remember the complaints constantly. It's just Drew Plitt sucks. He can't do anything. Blah blah blah. I believe in the Ball State. I believe in my friend, and I believe in their turnover. And I think that the gimmicky offense in that Josh Heupel, obviously Mike Gundy used to be of that vein, and now he is more of a defensive, slow it down, run it kind of guy. Josh has to run the ball against Ball State. If they just throw the ball a ton, I think it'll go poorly for them. So I believe in my Ball State Cardinals plus the 35 or whatever.
Was he there last year?
He was there. He's been there for the last 3 years. So he was there for the MAC.
So last year, when they gave up 420 yards a game on defense, he was the coach.
He was one of the coaches, yes, but he actually got a promotion from last year. So shout out to
Okay.
just before you jump in, Cab, 63% of the tickets are on Tennessee and 83% of the cash. Makes a ton of sense. We've seen a huge move towards Tennessee. 49% of the tickets and 91% of cash on the under. So the under's moved a point and a half down from 68 to 66.5.
Yeah, because Ball State's massive defense is going to shut them down.
All right, Daby Cab, Ball State, Tennessee.
Okay, I said it earlier, man. If you wanted to bet Tennessee, and this is one of the hard things with college football, guys, the lines come out early and they get hammered. That's why it's so important to make sure and check out, Ian and CMAC early in the week on Monday. Like, I'm not saying that you have to bet the games on Monday, but you might want to get an idea of it. And you definitely need to pay attention to what's going on with the lines. Because for me, even if I wanted to bet Tennessee right here, on principle, I will not do it because of how much I missed on the line movement. I just won't do it because 4 points is a ton. Hell, they could easily have covered the original spread and I could lose. So I will not get involved with Tennessee. Ball State was fucking horrible last year. 420 yards per game on defense. The only thing they did was they were able to create turnovers sometimes. But when you got people getting that many, he's going up. When you got that many people getting that many yards, there's a lot of air under the football, a lot of opportunity for turnovers. They don't return much. They didn't do much in the transfer portal. Ball State has done nothing to excite me for this season for them. Nothing. Sorry, Jose. I'm just being honest. That being said, this spread is too much for me. Tennessee, they returned their top quarterback. They returned their top receiver. They returned their top running back. This team averaged 39.3 per game last year. They're going to have tempo. They're going to push. This is a Ball State team last year that gave up 420 yards per game, not against Tennessee. Okay, so I think Tennessee is going to do whatever the fuck they want on offense. But it worries me because, with this high of a spread, you're going to have backups all over the field. You could have backups on the field by the third quarter, right? It could be the third quarter and you got backups on the field. So, shit, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't hate Jose's play because I can't get behind Tennessee at this high of a spread, but I'm damn sure not backing Ball State either.
Jose, you can get a nice number. You can get 35.5 at plus money, but you can get a 36.5 at minus 109.
I'll take whatever the highest number is at under minus 120. We will take. I need all of the points I can get.
You can get plus 37 at minus 117.
Beautiful. Plus 37. Yes, fucking ride.
I just noticed in the chat, Zoe put, what sucks is I wanted Fresno State at minus 34.5, and his book finally gave it to him today at minus 42. That's what I'm saying. It's, God, that's such a. I couldn't chase that number even if I really wanted to.
And that first half is at minus 24. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, it's going to be a 21-10 first half Tennessee. Ball State going to hang it with them. It's going to be great.
All right.
I wonder what Tennessee's team total is for the first half, because I bet Tennessee scores at least 28.
The first half team total for the
they might score 28
Volunteers. Oh, Jesus. You can tell Pinnacle does not want you to bet this. It's over 27.5 at minus 246, and there's no options.
What?
Yeah.
I've never.
Pinnacle does that in college sports. In college basketball, if they don't want you to make a certain bet, they will only put it up at a point where nobody would find the risk reward worth it. So that means that Tennessee's going to put up points. Pinnacle thinks Tennessee's going to score a whole lot of points. They don't want to on it. Coincidence, all gas, no breaks for the Vols in the first half. Wow. Tennessee first half at minus 24. Would you take that, Cab? People are asking in the chat. Would you take the Tennessee Volunteers first half minus 24?
If I had to pick a side, yes, I would take Tennessee minus 24. I think it could be 28-3 or 28-10, which, that puts it on either side. That's my problem. I see it being 28-3, 28-10, something like that. Maybe 35-10 at half. It's going to be a lot of points. That's what I do think first half. Maybe I'd take the over first half. Maybe that's where I'd look if I was going to try and move, because I lean under for the full game just because I really think Tennessee's going to have backups on the field at some point, whether it's the third quarter or the fourth quarter.
Well, let's roll on. Jose Bouquet has pulled out his big balls and bet on Ball State, but did take him at the highest line under minus 120, which is not a sign of confidence. But
whoa, you guys take them. You guys take Tennessee on the other side, huh? How about that? No one's here taking Tennessee. I believe in the Cardinals. We're going to win outright. I'm not scared.
What?
Yeah, don't worry. He's just trying to. It's just okay. Jose Bouquet though is betting Ball State plus 37 minus 117 on his card. We move on. MLB coming up here shortly. We have 3 more games here we want to talk about, and this one is a big one. 8 p.m. Eastern. Penn State Nittany Lions at the Purdue Boilermakers, and Penn State has won 9 straight in this series dating back to 2004.
And 15-3 overall.
Wow. Let's move over to the line history in this one, because I would sure like to have more confidence in Purdue if that could happen and I could get to the window with them. But Penn State did open up at minus 3, and they're now minus 3.5. So a move towards Penn State. From a total perspective, it opened up at 54, and it's now at 53. So let's take a look at the cash flow and see if it all correlates there with this Penn State spot. 26,530 tickets in. 43% of the tickets and 72% of the cash is on Purdue.
Yep.
It was strange that would happen, and the books wouldn't move it back to 3. 63% of the tickets and 74% of cash is on the under, and it's dropped a point. Penn State comes in off a very disappointing season. Lost 6 of their last 8, 11-11 over the last 2 years, and clearly the pressure is mounting on James Franklin. He hired ex-Hurricanes head coach Manny Diaz to be the new defensive coordinator. Prior to being the head coach at Miami, he was Miami's defensive coordinator, so 3 years as defensive coordinator, 3 years as head coach at the Hurricanes. Sean Clifford needs to step up. 6th season, 4th as a starter. 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions from last year is not acceptable. Jeff Brom's history at Purdue, they've been very good as a home underdog and have gone 8-3 against the spread against ranked opponents since 2018. Aiden O'Connell returns, but his top receiver, David Bell, was picked in the 3rd round, 99th overall by the Cleveland Browns, the storied Cleveland Browns. Brock Thompson, 217 yards, receiving 2 touchdowns in the Music City Bowl. He'll be WR1. And Milton Wright is unavailable due to academics. But if you look at the roster, I think he can be replaced. O'Connell and the Boilermakers finished 5th nationally in yards per game at 355.4. So with another year under his belt, can O'Connell improve on this passing attack that was second best offense in the Big Ten? Offensive line returns all of their starters, and the tight ends look very strong. Noli Knows is leaning to the under. Harold Williams is on Purdue money line. Ryan Mueller says take Purdue and the points. Take it away.
You know, it's funny. I want to know what you think about this, Jimmy. I just saw in the chat somebody said that they feel like the books are begging us to take Penn State, but in my opinion, I think the opposite, man. Like with 72% of the cash on them, I'm shocked the number didn't go back to 3 or lower. I mean, that is a lot of money with a lot of tickets in, and it really seems like it seems like it's not. Purdue seems like the very public play here, which is crazy because I keep hearing how public Penn State is. Penn State's public. I feel like Purdue's the play that everybody's on. Purdue seems to be like what 80% of the people that I know are on also.
Yeah. Everything you just said there is the reason why I wanted to talk this out with everyone. I mean, I don't know how you can confidently bet Purdue if the line stays at 3.5 and you know everybody's on Purdue, because if I've seen everybody on Purdue as well.
Okay. So this is like I said, it's tough for me to say because, you know, I like it when I align with the people in the chat, when I align with everyone else. But I went back and forth on this game. I mean, I lost sleep last night over this because I was so tossing and turning between it. But at the end of the day, I was leaning Penn State, and then the line told me that if I like Penn State, why am I not betting it? So I took Penn State here. Sean Clifford, he was great last year. They were 5-0. Okay. They were doing good against Iowa, even in that game that they blew. I know everybody remembers that huge fucking debacle against Iowa that Penn State had. They were 5-0. They were winning that game comfortably going into halftime. And then they lost their quarterback and everything fell to shit for Penn State. It reminds me a lot of A&M. A&M, they were up and down last year. I could not stand Calzada. I fucking hate the guy. And that happened to Penn State for me last year. They do only have 52% production returning on defense. But if you look at what they've done to put this defense together, this is a good Penn State defense. This is a good Penn State secondary. And Purdue preyed on people that didn't have good secondaries. I think Penn State's going to be able to put some pressure on O'Connell. And I think, you know, it's not just Bell and his other receiver that failed or didn't pass school or whatever. He's academically out. He lost his top 3 returners. I do agree. They have 16 out of 22 starters returning, so they should have some people, but they lost their best player on the D line last year. They lost their best linebacker, Jalen Alexander. And Purdue, here's the flip side of their offense. They rushed for 2.6 yards per last year, 2.6 when they tried to run. They couldn't run the ball. This was not a dynamic two-style offense team. They could throw. That's it. That's all they could do. And I think Penn State, if Purdue's not able to run the ball at all here, I think Penn State's got a good enough secondary and is going to be able to control this game enough where they come out on top at the end. So I took Penn State -3.5. I know I'm going against a lot of cappers that I have a hell of a lot of respect for, but this is where I'm at on this first game, man.
Look, I get it. And Zoe saying that, you know, the Penn State has more of the tickets in on them. So they are the public side. And you know, I agree with that. But seeing 71% of the cash on Purdue, clearly the sharp action is on Purdue. And the books have no fear taking the sharp action. And I hear way more Purdue than Penn State. And you have Penn State coming off a bad season. You have all these reasons to want statistically to back Purdue, and the books are offering up Purdue over a field goal. Big Show's taking Penn State -4.5 plus 140.
Oh, wow. I think this is O'Connell, man. I think that people are, I mean, because he is a really good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. I mean, one of the best, in my opinion, this year out of everyone. But Penn State, God, I hate to say this because I kind of looked at this with Nebraska, and that was Scott Frost shot me in the face with that. But Penn State should just outman this Purdue team from top to bottom. I just don't. Outside of O'Connell, I just think Penn State's going to wear this team down, and that's why I took the full game and not the first half.
Well, let's lock you in. You're getting Penn State -3.5 at -106. I'm not going to move on Penn State because I wanted to back Purdue. but I'm not going to back Purdue. Did you have a feeling on this total that opened up at 54 is now at 53? Do you have a lean there?
By backing Penn State, I have to say that I like the under. Because if this becomes a shootout, then it's probably Purdue's game.
Matty Ice is on Penn State as well. Saturated says Purdue will come out throwing. Quarterback went 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in their last 5 games. Mr. Always Profits says just take the under and call it a day on this one. I think you're right.
I think that. I saw somebody that I have a lot of respect for break down O'Connell's last 5 games. Holy shit, his number. He scares me. He scares me too, man. His numbers are off the chart. Especially his last 5 games. But I think the line is. I think the books want us to bet Purdue here. And since I was leaning Penn State, and I feel like they're asking us to bet Purdue, I have to go with what I think here, and I'm with Penn State.
All right, well, let's keep rolling. You are locked in here. You got Penn State minus 3.5 at minus 106, West Lafayette, Indiana. This is going to be fun. Taint play of the day is in, and it is on the Braves team total over. Atlanta Braves team total over. I'm going to have that set up as well. We have spreadsheet play in as well. Let's get this right here and locked in. Okay, let's keep rolling because we are an hour and 7 minutes away from the first MLB game, but we'll have lots of time for that. So let's keep rolling. Next up for us, Louisiana Tech Bulldogs without Skip Holtz patrolling the sidelines at Missouri Tigers. We're in Columbia, Missouri. Let's start with the line history in this one. We have it opening with Missouri minus 20.5. Right now, Missouri's minus 20. So a half-point move towards La Tech. From a total perspective, it opened up at 59.5, and it's now at 61. It moved to 61 15 minutes ago from 60.5. Let's take a look at where the cash is. 11,789 tickets, 52% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on La Tech. Then you have 24% of the tickets and 47% of cash on the under. So the public betting the over, but the under's taking the bigger bets, moving in the direction of the over. Ronnie Burgley says, I'm going to move on this under. Reich, by the way, says Purdue should cover. I don't trust Penn State week 1. Okay, after an awful 3-9 season, the Bulldogs fired Skip Holtz and replaced him with former Texas Tech offensive coordinator Sonny Cumbie, who I know you know a lot about. Cumbie named Matthew Downing the starting quarterback. They have history together at TCU in 2020. Downing has last year's leading receiver Smoke Harris returning. Leading rusher Marcus Williams is gone. Greg Garner returns, and they have a Vandy transfer in Keon Henry Brooks. They added 24 transfers, La Tech, 11 on offense and 13 on defense. Tyler Grubbs, 99 tackles as a freshman, all conference. He's going to be back on defense. Missouri now in its 3rd year with Eli Drinkwitz. They've won 9 straight against teams with losing records. Brady Cook takes over at quarterback for Missouri. It's just a nonstop changes at quarterback there. That's the 5th starting quarterback over the last 5 years. So he redshirt sophomore. He saw action 5 games last year and the Armed Forces Bowl, where he was 19 of 24 for 107 yards and 1 touchdown. That was not in the bowl game. He was much better, 27 of 34, 238 yards and 1 touchdown. Also ran for 53 yards. He's shown that he can be a dual threat. He is got receiving core headlined by 5-star freshman Luther Burden III. And last year's leader in both rushing and receiving yards, Tyler Beatty, was drafted in the 6th round by the Baltimore Ravens. He still has Elijah Young. And he also has Corey Schrader. He's come over from Truman State. He led Division II with 2,074 rushing yards. Also, Nathaniel Pete has transferred from Stanford. And their defense playing under first-year coordinator Blake Baker. Take it away here for us, Daby Cab, La Tech, Missouri.
So, like you said, first thing I'll touch on is Cumbie. So he's a Mike Leach guy. He played for him, coached with him. So that should be enough said right there, right? He's a Mike Leach guy. So we kind of know what to expect out of him. And that's important, man. When we get new head coaches and stuff, you really need to look into like, what does that mean? Like, how is this offense going to change? How's the play calling going to change? How's the game plan going to change? So this is going to be a fast-paced offense with a lot of passing. That's what's going to happen. A lot of short passes too, a lot of swing passes, a lot of hitch routes, screens, stuff like that, bubble routes. It's going to be a lot of quick stuff. But like you said, with with what they're returning, this is a rebuild year for me with Louisiana Tech here. I think that they're, for the most part, going to just be rebuilding this whole year. Missouri on the other side, one thing I will say, I don't have a play in this game, but I do like the team total wins over 5.5 for Missouri on the season. I like that a lot. I'll throw that out there for anybody who looks into that. They lost in that Armed Forces Bowl, but Brady Cook looked great. You touched on his numbers in that game. I watched that game. I was on that game. I bet on it. And I was really impressed with what Brady Cook did. It was a fun game to watch. I think he's got a good chance back there. I think Purdue did some good stuff in the transfer portal, like bringing in that guy Pete from Stanford. They brought in a few other players. Like I said, I like their win total for the season here. I don't know if I like them to beat Louisiana Tech by 21 points. This line seems to be on point for me. I got Missouri winning this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So that, with all that being said, it's not enough. It's not enough of a room for me to feel comfortable making a play on this one. I'd lean over if I was looking at total wise, though.
And so is Ron Crawford saying over. There's a lot of question marks on both teams for me. Too many question marks. And so this was the one.
That's
game
the
where
main thing for me is I genuinely don't know what I'm going to get out of Louisiana Tech. And usually if I say I don't know, I think it's going to be bad. But damn, man, when you got a coach that runs plays like this guy's going to be running these little quick plays, a good defense that's all over him, no big deal. A defense that's lacking at all, there's a good chance that Louisiana Tech could have some big plays.
All right. Okay, we are off that spot at this point, although Daby Cab does like the over 5.5 win total for Missouri. Let's move on to a game. Who would have thought that New Mexico State Aggies at Minnesota Golden Gophers would turn into a huge rivalry game? It's shocking. It's shocking.
Who considers it that?
The coaches hate each other. And when the coaches hate each other, all of a sudden, the everything changes.
You got to win to be a rival, right?
Oh, I hear you. But and New Mexico State looks god awful. I mean, so we know how bad Nevada was supposed to be, but we'll get into that here shortly. Let's start with this. New Mexico State Aggies at Minnesota Golden Gophers in Huntington Bank Stadium, Minneapolis, Minnesota. This opened up with New Mexico State as 38-point dogs. They're now 36-point dogs. From a total perspective, it opened up at 56. It's dropped all the way down to 52.5. So a big drop. We're moving into MLB right after this one. We have 11,689 tickets in. It's 50-50 on the tickets, but 57% of the cash is on Minnesota. Then you have 62% of tickets, 95% cash on the under. The under is believed in heavy. And it's moved 3.5 points. In the last 15 years, this was the stat. This stat. So what, my man?
I was going to say, there it is again with the line movement. So the one out of everything in this game, the one play that I like is the under, and I'm not betting it when I lost that many points.
Yeah, no, I understand it. This stat took me by surprise because my first instinct was we thought New Mexico State might be a little better this year than they were last year, and we thought, I know. My first instinct
on defense.
They have a game under their belt. That should help them. And then I read this: a team playing its second game in the last 15 years, a team playing its second game facing a team playing its first, only 43.9% against the spread. So that angle, toss out the window.
Weird.
Here we go.
Weird.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise. Jerry Kill used to coach the Gophers. They were bad when he coached them. 29-29 overall, 14-21 in the Big Ten. And he also was the boss of PJ Fleck. Fleck took over in 2017, and he said some things about the operation or about the team that upset Kill very much. And Kill has said publicly he's not going to shake Fleck's hand after the game. Colv Coleon in the house.
Okay, now I'm going to watch at least that.
Great to see you, Colv Coleon, our guy, Vegas King, Colv Coleon. So when we talk about Minnesota, we start with Ibrahim. They were playing Ohio State tough last year. Now, I know Ohio State wasn't the team that we thought they were going to be last year, but they were playing them tough. 30 carries for 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he tore his Achilles. So he's back. So is Tanner Morgan. God, Tanner Morgan is just like JT Daniels. I mean, anyone trust Tanner Morgan? New Mexico State gave up 4 yards per carry to Nevada. The Wolfpack last year had averaged 77.4 yards per game and still put up 4 yards per carry against New Mexico State. The Wolfpack brought back 29% of its total production, and still were able to move the ball on New Mexico State. The Aggies offense looked atrocious. 12 points against what's going to be one of the worst defenses in the country. Diego Pavia was abysmal. 9 of 20, 75 yards, 3 touchdowns, lost a fumble. True freshman Gavin Frakes came in and looked much better. 9 of 13, 143 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Trill Carter is a lone returning starter on the defensive line, their defensive tackle. And they last faced each other in 2018. The Gophers beat the Aggies 48-10. Take it away here. Nasty Nate says New Mexico covers. Johnny Gunn says, I went to New Mexico State. The team has always been bad. Recruiting is awful, and there's not much substitution. Starters get tired by halftime. However, the second-string quarterback that came in looked very impressive, lit a spark. That is Frakes. Take it away here for us, Daby Cab, New Mexico State, Minnesota.
Well, that second-string quarterback was coming in behind somebody who went 9 of 20 with 3 interceptions, so it wouldn't have taken much to look better. But, man, so Minnesota here, look, obviously Minnesota's going to win this game. It's just how much, right? That's the question. Minnesota's biggest problem is they're only returning their center on their O-line. So how much that's going to affect them here in this game, I don't know. But something to look out for the rest of the season when they get a bigger team, right, is like all they're getting back is their center on the O-line. Were you about to say something, Jimmy?
No.
Okay, you leaned forward like you were about to say something. I was like, go ahead. Okay, they're obviously they're the Big Ten team. They're the bigger team. They're the better team. Clearly, they've got a lot of new players though on both sides of the line. And if you've heard me talk a lot lately, it's line. I harsh on line, offensive line, defensive lines. Even with the new players, they're going to have the advantage in the trenches. New Mexico State. I mean, what do you want me to say about them? They're terrible. Their defense looks for New Mexico State good. Okay, I hope everyone understands what I'm saying when I say that. For New Mexico State, their defense looks good. They're not good. They're a terrible football team. But for New Mexico State, their defense looks okay. I lean under on this game. But I saw it in the chat too. I saw Jacksonville Zoe put it in there. He could see Minnesota scoring 42 points this game. I was looking more at around. I don't know. I don't think New Mexico State scores. That's how bad I think this New Mexico State team is. I think it could be like a 35-0 type of game. Honestly, I really do. But just because of the fact that Minnesota is going to control these trenches, and it's going to be up to them. Do they want to win by more than 36? Because if they want to, they will. So for me, that's why I'm off. I can't touch this one.
I'm going to be on Minnesota first half.
Okay, there you go. See, that's with these big spreads. If you're going to take the team, the first half, I got no problem with that because they're going to come out and play football the first half.
And I liked what you said about the offensive line, Minnesota. I don't think New Mexico State can do anything with the turnover that's happening on the offensive line. And I think that Fleck hates skill.
Yeah, there's too. Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Fleck is actually a class act once they're up 40. I wouldn't put that past him.
Yeah, because he kind of can rub it in a little bit. Shit, man. Thinking more on this, man. I don't hate that Minnesota first half look at all. What did you get your line at?
I just want to prompt you guys and say, if you guys take Minnesota, you're disrespecting Nasty Nate, whose nephew plays tight end at New Mexico State. I'm just going to say that now. Really? Yes, I'm going to say that now. Really? So if you take Minnesota, you're spitting in Nasty Nate's family tree.
Nasty Nate said he didn't hear the disrespect, but he says that his nephew would tie me into a pretzel.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Both of us probably.
Well, the bet I wanted to make, though, which is not available to me, and maybe it could become available, is New Mexico State first half team total under. And I know it'd be tiny, but that was the one that I wanted to make. I think that they don't get the ball much, and then I think that Fleck might just take his foot off the gas once it's said and done. If that was to become available for me, I might move on it. I'd see what the number is, obviously. But I'm going to be on the first half. It's 23.5. Daby, it's 23.5. The first half here, and it's moved because of the market slightly moving towards New Mexico State, so it's gotten a tiny bit better. But yes, the first half is 23.5, and that's at plus 106. So you can get it at plus 20. The problem is the only number that really matters is the 21, which they're not allowing at most books. But you can get minus 21.5 first half at minus 107. That's interesting. I wonder if I could move that around. I'm not sure what I'm going to end up moving on, but what would you prefer here? Would you like to move on to Minnesota first half?
So you can get minus 21.5 at minus 107 and 23.5 at plus 106.
Yeah, they're just considered dead numbers.
That's what I was thinking. So wouldn't you rather take the plus money on that one?
Yeah, probably.
I'm sitting here thinking that was a tough question. I don't know if I was prepared for that. I mean, it's how often is a team up by 22 or 23 points?
It's 22.5 at minus 110 at Bet365, and I wonder if they're going to let you move it around.
22.5 at minus 110.
Yeah, but you can get 21.5 at minus 107 at Penny, but they're not offering at 21.
For me, if I was going to play this, I'd probably go with the. Shit, man. I don't know. I think I'd probably just go ahead and take the plus money on this one.
Is that what you would like to do for official record keeping purposes? The 23s plus 101, 23.5 plus 106, and 24s plus 124.
Let's just go with the 23.5 at plus 106.
23.5. So Daby Cab is on the plus 23.5 at plus 106. Jose, let's see if we can get an NIL deal with Nate's nephew.
Hell yeah.
Down. The only issue is most of the times, gambling companies and NCAA, we try to do that with the college football guys here as well, and then the colleges were like, Pub Sports Radio is gambling related. But yeah, no, definitely, we definitely have done that stuff before. We've tried to at least.
Okay, well, let's look into it and see what we could do. It'd be dope if we could get Nasty Nate's.
It'd be a real shame if he caught a touchdown and then did like this, and it was a Pub Sports Radio glass logo on the gloves. It would be a real shame. I'd hate to see that.
What if he's sponsored by Pub Culture TV?
What if he's sponsored by Southtown 101?
Well, I'm into it. Let's look in. I'm going to write this down. NIL, Nasty Nate's nephew. All right, let's review all action. And the show started off with a bang with our breakdown of the chips and the pokes. Jose's on the chips plus 22 at minus 111. I'm going to move on the under in that game. Daby Cab stayed off. I'm going to double up on the Panthers first half and full game. Cab's on the Pittsburgh Panthers minus 7 at minus 120. Then Jose's on Ball State plus 37, minus 117.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Then, I've got some interest in Tennessee first half, but I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger. Then Cabs on Penn State minus 3.5, minus 106. I'm going to stay off that spot. La Tech, Missouri, we both stayed off. And then Cab moved on Minnesota first half minus 23.5.
By the way, I messaged my guy, and he said that, quote, they have the best quarterback in the MAC, and a lot of new guys are playing, and he's very excited. So I'll be betting, by the way, Ball State to win the conference as well. Just whatever.
Can you let us know what that line? You got to stay with us because it's baseball time. But can you figure out what that line is for them to win the MAC? I'd be curious.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Great stuff, Daby Cab. And Daby Cab not only can be seen on the Daily Sesh Monday through Friday at 4:20 p.m. alongside Dutch Boy Fresh, but Friday night 7:30 p.m. Illinois, Indiana, NCAA football right here on Pub Sports Radio live bet stream. Then on Saturday, Saturday the UFC cards in Gay Paris, so it starts at noon. So it's our turn Saturday night to fuck around. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Ohio State Buckeyes, live here on Pub Sports Radio live bet stream starring Daby Cab and Moose Money Bets at 7:15 p.m. I love it.
Man, I cannot wait for those live streams, guys. And if you come in there, like we're giving out whatever we're betting live. We want to know what you guys are betting live. We're in there to try and make money, but also we're gonna have a lot of fucking fun and watch football. I mean, it's violence, man. It's violence that we all get to share together. There's not much better than that.
Yeah, there isn't much better. And Ron Crawford gave us a spreadsheet play today on Penn State yesterday. So Penn State is Daby and Ron Crawford. Great job, Daby Cab. best of luck with the Daily Sesh. Have a great show. Who is your guest today on Daily Sesh?
Fallish Hound. I know that she might not be somebody that we've seen in this circle, but she's awesome. Fallish Hound. Yesterday we had Ski Profit on. So we keep it fresh. That like the name with Dutch Boy. There you go. We keep it fresh with the guests. It's a lot of fun, man. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Just because you don't smoke doesn't mean that we don't got something for you.
I thought it was foolish. Wow.
Foolish? Is it? Do I say it wrong?
Bro, no, I don't know. It's your guess. You know more about her than me.
She hasn't corrected me yet.
Okay, well, you're good.
Yeah, there you go. And she sent me some fire edibles. I'll just say that. Delusional Eats. Check them out. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Let's make some fucking money tonight.
There he is. Dabra Cadabra in the house. All right. That is college football. We move on to MLB and a very strong day yesterday. 4-1 plus 2.85 units. We're back up double-digit units again, plus 10.91 units on the season. ROI, again, above 2%. I want a 3% when the season ends, but our friend Joe Yurkovich has got me thinking about trying to get to 4. LA Dodgers, New York Mets, first 5 under 3.5 was a fucking gift. It was just too fucking easy. Houston, Texas, under 7.5 was poorly done. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, first 5 under 4.5 was very easy. Oakland, Washington, under 8.5. It feels like, as we get more experienced in this business, I was certain that the Sharps are going to be all over that under. I just knew it right when I saw it, and I went on it too, and it was a comfortable cash. And then White Sox first 5 minus a half. I only went first 5. The full game -1 was going to cost me -150. I deemed that too expensive. They did cover that with a 4-2 win, and I was sort of fortunate with a run in the bottom of the 5th to catch that. So a 4-1 day, and felt very, very, very good. Let's get to work right now. Let's move over to MLB odds. All right, let's go. And Jacksonville Zoe does not believe in your Mac look on Ball State.
1,600 for them to win the Mac West division, and I will be betting that. Very exciting.
Bet with Jay says, tell the community what win percentage you need to be successful at sports betting. Successful is tricky.
Subjective.
It all depends on your unit size. So a professional gambler would like to have an ROI at 2.18% that I have in MLB. But a professional gambler's unit size is not $150 like my MLB unit size. So that's 53.2%. You need to hit 52.4% to break even on -110s. If you focus on plus lines, that number can go down. I would say, if you have if you're $100 bettor, a recreational bettor, then you need to hit at 54%, I would say, to be successful. Saturated says success all depends on bankroll management. Jacksonville Zoe says I always have the target at 57%. And Lee Davis says also depends on average line. That's crucial. There's Turnsey in the house. What's happening, Turnsey? Listening on his lunch break. I get money, says my wife likes his unit size. All right, well, that's...
Helga does not like mine, so
no,
that's relatable.
Yeah.
By the way, just a little example. My unit size or average lines plus 111, and I'm sub 500 and barely negative. So that's just another example of why average line is important.
Yes, next year I would like you to post all that with your everyday stats, because I remember in NHL my first year doing this publicly, I got up 40 units and I was like hitting at 42%, but my average line was like at plus 140, and people would just, like I would put the number out, but some people just look at your win-loss and they think you're doing poorly, even though, you're fucking dominating. So I'd like you to have that up there as well. Mr. Always Profit, no, 150 for MLB. And I do sneak it up to 200 when I'm getting hot. It's 200 for NFL, 200 for NHL, 150 for MLB, and it's 100 for college football and college basketball. That's and I'd love to change it, but you only change that shit if you're successful. And you'll know when I'm starting to fucking hit it. Now, the first sign was I got my family out of Parkdale. That's a sign I've had a good 6-month run, But you'll know when I'm succeeding at this, when my unit size goes up. When I hit $500 is my dream. Obviously, that's not enough to be a professional gambler. I think you need to have $1,000 unit size if you want to be even close. But even that's not enough. That's the problem. And we've done episodes on what you need to do. I think you need to have a unit size of $5,000, really. But we've seen other cappers with lower unit sizes succeed and do it for a living. But we'll talk more about this stuff.
To think about.
Slaughter's got some lyrics for you. By the way, Schnigel has got lyrics for our friends and family. Okay, let's get to work. Let's get to work right now in MLB, and we're back up over in double-digit units. Let's keep it rolling. We have Jose Bouquet joining us, 8-game card. First game pops off in 42 minutes. Seattle Mariners 72-58, 37-30 on the road. At the Detroit Tigers 50-80, 29-37 at home. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. I've got way too many things open up here. It's going to take me a second to get Swish up here, but I will.
Yeah, Jimmy never closes his tabs or his notes, guys. That's one thing you guys will learn about Jimmy today.
It's when
he says, "Oh, my computer's not running. I got too many things up." He's got like 70 pages up, and half of them are from the last 2 months.
It's important. It's important to keep for record keeping purposes. I like to keep them.
Yeah, it's nice to have them, not have them all up all the time.
78 Fahrenheit, 3.9 miles per hour in, gets up to 4.7 miles per hour, and it goes right to left. Kenny V says my unit size is $20, but I've been doing $300 in WNBA this season. Shout out to Ski and Tees for paying my kids' school tuition this year. I love that shit, Kenny V. I love hearing that. Jack Rosenblatt says, let's do it. And while we're all here getting ready for MLB, I know we're going away from college football, but sign up for the Cappers contest. Get in with our Cappers contest. $100, just $100. And then Jose and I have our own show every Thursday where we talk all about who's succeeding in the Cappers contest. And it, also coincides with the Survivor pool.
Yes,
$100 each.
5 picks a week. People were asking about that. Or should they saturated? Thought it was every pick. 5 picks a week.
5 picks a week. And my mom is going to be in the contest, and we will figure out the penalty if you lose to my mom. Logan Gilbert going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. Let's start with the line history here in this one. The pinnacle line history. This opened up with the Mariners at minus 155. They're now minus 147, an 8-cent move towards the Detroit Tigers. From a total perspective, it opened up at 7.5, juiced to the under at minus 117. It has not moved. So no movement, slight move to the Tigers. We go over to where the cash lies. No spot with full line value on this card, but we have 2 with half line value, and one of them is the Detroit Tigers and Eduardo Rodriguez. 9,129 tickets in. 19% of tickets, 21% of the cash on the Tigers. 46% of tickets, 60% cash on the under, and the market is not moving. Logan Gilbert's last start was nice. 3-2 extra inning win at home versus Cleveland. 6 1/3, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, no walks. He's been very good on the road all year long. Overall, he's 10-5 with a 3.49 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. On the road, he's 6-1 with a 3.15 ERA, 236 opponents batting average. Harambe's Revenge says best poker game I've ever been to was in Wilmington. Well, we're going to change that because we're going to have a monthly poker game with our friends at Bet Online that we will be announcing this month, where we're all going to be gambling against each other. Sorry, I don't know what's Ramos, I missed, but thank you for having my back. I'm not sure who was on me, but thank you. Big Show said somebody say poker. You're damn right. Somebody said poker. I'm so excited. We are very, very, very excited about playing poker against each other.
I might go to a poker game tonight.
I like it. I respect it. And Eduardo Rodriguez, 3-3, 3.60 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, 41 Ks in 50 innings, 23 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, he allowed just 1 earned run in 6 innings. So he's had 2 starts back since he was MIA, not only injured, but MIA for part of it. And he's looked very good. It looks like he's making up for lost time. He did get that big contract. He's 2-1 with a 2.84 ERA, 232 opponents batting average at home. Mariners are starting to hit lefties a little bit over the last 30 days. Not righties, but lefties. 232, 724 OPS. Tigers versus righties continue to be poor. 227, 633 OPS. And this Mariners bullpen has been so good of late. 2.49 ERA, 0.94 WHIP, while the Tigers bullpen has been absolute trash over the last 30 days. 5.14 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. Here we go. Jose Bouquet. This game pops off in 39 minutes. Mariners, Tigers, take it away.
I struggled a lot with this game. Because I wanted to actually fade Eduardo here, Eddie Aces. He had those first 2 good starts coming off of his hiatus, like you mentioned. I suspect that you didn't say this about Kyle Lowry, but he had the same issues with Kyle Lowry in this NFL or NBA season. He might have had some what's the word? It's not infertility. Infidelity, maybe? That's the word. There we go. I'm smart. I have a college education. So it might have been a little bit of that for Eddie Aces. I don't know. He's been pitching well. I have been mentioning how pitchers that have been hurt, or in this case, Eddie's just been gone for half the season, coming back at the end of it, will be sharper, better than most. The guys obviously been pitching the whole season. But I kind of figured that I don't think his run's going to last too much longer here. Seattle 12th against lefties, 111 weighted runs created plus. Detroit, shockingly enough, and I've been doing I cut my splits not for the whole month of August, but for the previous 2 weeks, I should say. Detroit, sneaky 10th against righties, 103 weighted runs created plus. So I thought about just taking a first 5 over in this one, shockingly enough, but I couldn't get there at the end of the day. I wouldn't also hate a Seattle, or I should say a Detroit first 5 money line here if you think Eddie keeps on rocking and rolling, because I do think Logan Gilbert gives up some runs here. But at the end of the day, I passed on this game. My best play here is a first 5 over, but I was truly hoping for it to be a 3.5, and it's a 4. So I passed.
Yeah, I found this game difficult as well. You got some sharp money on the under. You have 8 of every $10 being bet on the Mariners. I get it. Jack Rosenblatt thought about the Tigers first 5 over 1.5. Big Show says, Jimmy, think you connect with a good core chance to maybe run something for an NHL league? Definitely. We'll definitely do NHL. Mike M looking at Detroit first 5 under 4. I said I was going to bring up the weather, and I did slightly in. Yeah, this isn't I don't really feel like there's an angle there, other than it's funny that you were leaning towards the first 5 over, and that was based on both squads hitting a little better than we've seen them hitting of late. Mariners versus lefties, and Tigers kind of all around.
Yep.
Because both these pitchers have been very good, don't you think these pitchers have been quite good of late?
Yeah, I mean, Gilbert 2 earned runs in his last start against Cleveland, and then Oakland gives up 3 runs, only 2 of them earned. Truthfully, I expected him to pitch better there, but it does have it does seem like Logan Gilbert. Let me double check this, because I'm certain he's already over his career high in innings pitched, and I can see him wearing down slowly as it goes. And Detroit has been last in like every hitting stat this last month. And the fact, I should say this whole year, and the fact that they're 10th right now and a little bit above average has me feeling that they're going to hit, or that they're hot in their standards. So I think they can hit some here. And the only, I guess, another concern here, Detroit has not seen Gilbert. Obviously, this is his first time going against him. And Gilbert, by the way, 149 innings pitched is by far his most. His next was last year at 120. So, yeah, maybe some fatigue setting in. I was really hoping for a first 5 over 3.5, but like I said, it's a 4. And I feel like I've seen those 4s, and I've been like eager to bet under 4, and I've lost on them quite frequently. So I ultimately passed on this game, and I actually have 5 plays on this short card, so it's kind of surprising.
And mentioned from, was it Johnny Gunn? Who mentioned that? Someone mentioned that Erod is poor in the daytime. Bet with Jay saying Erod poor in the daytime. I mean, I won't look at this year because it's been a strange year for Erod. So let's take a look at what he did in 2021. So it was sort of poor, but the sample size is too small in 2022. In 2021, in the daytime, 5.12 ERA. I mean, he had bad numbers in day and night in 2021. And you got to go back to 2019. And in 2019, worse numbers in the day than at night. I guess there's something to that. Space Card Ghostman says Gilbert gets bailed out by the rest of the team. I would trust Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound. Jack Rosenblatt says interesting that Logan Gilbert has an over/under of 2.5 earned runs, and the Detroit team total is over/under 1.5 first 5. I don't see an angle for me. If anybody else wants to move on it, go get it. Let's move on to 2:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals at Chicago White Sox. These Royals 53-78, 21-41 on the road, 20 games under 500 at the White Sox, 64-66, 31-35 at home, guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. It upset me a little bit yesterday. I mean, I was very happy they got the run in the bottom of the fifth, but I should have made more money off that game. It was minus 135. I made a little over $100, and at the end of it, I was like, we talk about it in horse racing. You really have to take advantage when you're right, and when you don't, you're just like, fuck, I was so right, and what do I have to show for it? Daniel Mengden on the mound for the Royals, the journeyman we remember from his Oakland A's days. He hasn't started a game for the Royals. He spent most of the year at AAA Omaha Storm Chasers. He started 17 games down there for them. 6-5, 4.55 ERA, 1.47 WHIP, 91 innings. Listen to this. This is the reason why he hasn't come up yet on this Royals team that could have used him at some point. 76 strikeouts and 50 walks. He's also allowed 16 home runs. It's just not a very good season. That's why he hasn't come up yet. Johnny Cueto looks like he's dealing with some arm fatigue. If you went through his last few years, it's been a while since he's thrown this many innings, 123 and 2/3, and it looks like he's dealing with it. Ethan Payson just signed up for the Cappers contest. I love it, Ethan Payson. And don't forget the Survivor pool. But the one we care most about is the Cappers contest. But I hear you. I Get Money says this dude hasn't pitched in the bigs this year. What the fuck do I do with this info? If you would rather us not talk about what they did in AAA, I think that it's important to get as much info as possible. I Get Money. Cueto, 7 earned runs in his last start. At home, he's been very good this year. 1.81 ERA. Ron Crawford's in the Cappers contest as well. 256 opponents batting average. Royals versus righties last 30 days, 236-67. White Sox have done the same thing against righties for like 2 months now, where they hit them, but they hit them with no power at all. Royals bullpen, White Sox bullpen, both absolutely atrocious. Just so bad. Let's do a quick line history look in this one. Mengden Cueto line history. We have it opening up with the Royals at plus 191. They're down to plus 168. So there's been a big move towards Mengden. And I would understand. We see pitchers like this who we don't feel have a ton of skill pitch well to have a chance to at least finish off this year in the majors. This total opened up at 9 juice to the under. It's now 9 slightly juice to the over. Let's see if the cash correlates with all that stuff. 5,548 tickets in. 21% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on the Royals. Wow. And a huge move towards him. Clearly, there's sharps that think Cueto's issues from last start are going to continue and that he's dealing with arm fatigue. I mean, that's just clear. And then you have 28% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on the over. It's amazing that this would have been a public under. I guess they're looking at Cueto's numbers and the way these guys are hitting righties. But the fact is Cueto's vulnerable, and who knows what Mengden is going to give. Wager Me This says this is a Penn game for the Royals. Just because Mengden's pitched 4 times out of the bullpen, it doesn't mean that he is not stretched out. We don't know if he's stretched out.
He goes. I think he goes a couple innings. He went 6 last appearance in the minors. He went 5 2/3. I think he tries. The Royals would love for him to go 5 or 6 innings. And
I'm with you completely. I agree with that completely because he started all 17 games.
Take it away. The Royals bullpen's horrific. I mean, they don't want to give them more innings than they have to be. So he's going to try to go as long as they can.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts here? Take it away. Royals, White Sox. How are you betting it?
A complete pass game for me. I saw Mengden and I just thought of his mustache in Oakland. I'll say this. Johnny's faced the Royals twice. First time was his very first start when he pitched really well. Second time was recently, gave up 2 earned runs. I think he probably struggles a little more. But the factor that we haven't mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned it yesterday. I think the news kind of broke after. La Russa out now with some mysterious medical issues, whatever those may be. Maybe the White Sox respond. I ultimately passed on this game too. Royals have lost a lot of money for me this year. The 25th against righties. Johnny, I don't think pitches well. I probably lean towards an over here if I had to play anything. But minus 206, I thought was ridiculous. Like if I have to pick a side just based on price, it's easily the Royals for me because I don't think Johnny Cueto is a minus 200 pitcher anymore. He minus 150, it should be his max right now.
Well, I don't know what Mangden's going to give you, and I don't know what the Royals bullpen's going to do. There's a lot that I don't know, but I do think that Cueto's vulnerable and the bullpen's vulnerable, and you have a big dog. And if you don't trust the big dog, because you think Mangden might be touched, it's 6.1 miles per hour right to left, gets up to 83 Fahrenheit. Nice offensive weather in a pitcher's ballpark. What up, Jack Lamartin? Thank you for joining us. I think that Royals team total over 3.5.
I wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate it at all. It should, like I said, 25th, 78 weighted runs created plus against righties, since the last 2 weeks. So, but Eric Chang, a good point here, saying Johnny Cueto has a history of pitching well to start the season and falling off a cliff when his arm gets tired. Did we see that last time against Arizona? That's what the Sharps are thinking as well, like you mentioned.
Mr. Always Profit says, I think we're reading too much into Cueto's last game. He gave us 7 runs, but 6 days before he went 8 innings, 0 runs. There's
back 8 innings too.
Yeah, no, there's truth there. But let's go over Cueto's last couple of years because he's sort of been up and down over the last. There's a lot of Southside fans that say he's the MVP of this baseball team. And he's been, I guess you're right. He's been pretty good. And he was pretty good against Kansas City. But let's just go over to his career stats here and go over what he's done innings wise, which is why because he's got a lot of trickery, right? He's already has more innings pitched. He hasn't pitched this many innings since 2017. I don't see how that doesn't affect him here. He threw 114 last year, 63 in that shortened 2020 year. 2019, he was injured the whole year, 16 innings. 2018, 53 innings. So I just think that at this point, at 36 years old, and Billy Friedrich says Cueto's almost single-handedly kept him in the race. Without him, they'd still have Velasquez in the rotation.
I agree. I was on that train too.
I'm going to take the Royals team total over 3.5. I think that he just saw this squad. They've just seen him. He's got all the trickery, the shimmies, and all that stuff. And sometimes the young guys maybe aren't prepared for it, and now they are.
Yeah, and like I said, this very first start of the year was against the Royals, and he was full go, 6 innings, no run runs. And last time was like maybe a week ago, 2-run runs. I definitely agree with you on the, he can do the old man shit once, twice, 3 times. I don't know.
3 times the lady. Allison says Purdue plus 3.5. How do you feel about that? We have Daby Cab and Ron Crawford on Penn State. I was initially going to be on Purdue at plus 3.5, and I got talked off of it. So I'm just off that game. All right, I'm on the White Sox team total over at 3.5. We move on. 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 49-82, 27-39 on the road at the Washington Nationals. 44-86, 21-47 at home. We are at Nationals Park in Washington D.C.
I'm glad that you talk about these games first because pronouncing the A's pitcher's name is fucked.
Waldichuk, is it not pronounced like that?
I don't know. English is hard for me, Jimmy.
Kenny Waldichuk is going to be I think he's going to be a really good pitcher. He seems to have that confidence, that the bully on the mound thing going for him. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be a really good pitcher. He is a lefty, right? Let me just make sure. Yes, he's a lefty. So he was part of the Frankie Montas trade. In 2022, he started the year at AA. He made 6 starts. So I'll give you his full AA, AAA numbers this year. So first, he was a 5th-round pick by the Yankees in 2019 out of St. Mary's in California. In AA and AAA, Oakland and New York, 6-4, 2.84 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, 137 strikeouts in 95 innings, 36 walks. So he starts the year at AA, makes 6 starts, and he's just dominant. 1.26 ERA, 41.1% strikeout rate, 8.9% walk rate. Goes up to AAA, and he's still really strong. 3.59 ERA, 34% strike rate, 11.2% walk rate, so it drops a little bit. He switches organizations in the Montas trade, makes 4 more AAA starts for the A's. He gets his walk rate down to 3.8%. So obviously they talked to him about that, and he showed out. 26.6% strikeout rate. So that dipped a little bit. So he's just been climbing on all of the prospect lists. So Baseball America says he's the 5th highest prospect in the Oakland A's organization. And you know all the trades that they've made for prospects. Fangraphs has him as the number 1 prospect in the A's organization. And Fangraphs has him as the 35th best prospect in the entire sport. That's 24-year-old Ken Waldichuk, son of Kenneth Waldichuk. And then you have Paolo Espino. Who the fuck wants to talk about Paolo Espino? He's not a... He's not a Venezolano, is he? I don't mean to say anything if he is.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
That's a good question. I will say we do come out of the woodwork often, so he could be. I will let you know here soon.
Okay, because I don't want to say anything. Okay, Paolo Espino, 0-6, 4.35 ERA, 1.31 whip, 69 Ks in 91 innings, 19 walks, and 17 home runs. Christopher Comensini says you got a 3.53 ERA in Vegas. That's saying something.
So we can shit all over him.
Okay. All right. Okay. Last start, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, and a 6-2 loss at home versus the Reds. He pitched pretty well. And he's pitched okay at home. He's a guy who gets soft contact, but he can't be trusted. A's versus righties. You can tell I'm thinking about hockey. 218, 637 OPS. Nats versus lefty. It's because I still got Joe Sakic sitting here. Got Burnaby Joe Sakic sitting here on my freaking desk. Nats versus lefties, 247, 692 OPS. A's bullpen, 4.07 ERA, 1.29 whip. JP says Espino's from Echo Park. Well, Jesus. Now, it's much safer if you're Hispanic in Echo Park than if you're a fucking white boy who tries to dress the same.
Yup. There's an alliance there. The African-American-Hispanic alliance is strong.
Nasty Nate says I need a Jose bobblehead. Okay, Nats bullpen 3.77 ERA, 1.31 whip over the last 30 days. Both bullpens have been good. That was part of the reason why we cashed on the under yesterday. Let's just take a quick look at line history and then hand it over to Jose Zenyatta, Bouquet, Waldichuk, Espino. Line history. We have no movement. The A's opened up at plus 103. That's where they stand right now. From a total perspective, it opened up at 7.5, and it got all the way up to 8.5. 39 minutes ago. It's come back to 8. That's interesting. So let's see if the cash flow follows suit there in this bum fight. They give 25% line value towards the Washington Nationals, 40% of the tickets, 76% of the cash on the Nats, and 60% of tickets, 94% cash on the over. But I guess they thought 8.5 was too high. Take it away for us here, Jose. A's, Nats.
After your breakdown of old Kenny Waldichuk here, I honestly wanted to take the A's, but I had nothing on this game going into it, truthfully. I don't know. You mentioned the rise in the prospect rankings. I saw it too, and I found that to be interesting. And I was like, wow, he's a part of the montage trade. He's already pitching. I find that interesting. Paolo Espino doesn't inspire confidence ever, really. Both these offenses aren't good. Oakland is a little better right now against righties, 92 weighted runs created plus 17th, and against lefties, the Nationals are 26, 80 weighted runs created plus. So if I had to pick a side, I'm probably going A's first 5, and I have it written down, and I don't know if I'm going to move on it yet. I'll say this, on Bovada, it was minus 108 earlier today. Now it is at minus 103 for the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strange spot where this kid is so much more appealing than Espino, but I think I've fallen for this trap before. Clearly, the A's brass has been working with Waldichuk. I mean, look at that 3.8% walk rate. So, I mean, clearly the move is not to walk, to face these batters.
9 Ks, 1 walk. Last time out, 6 Ks, 1 walk, I think was the second one. So that's very, very impressive.
This kid could easily be a monster. He acts like it when he's on. He acts tough. He looks older than he is. I think Waldichuk's going to be really good. I think he's going to be really good. But do I want him on his MLB debut in front of nobody in Washington except his family sitting there? I don't know if I want him. I don't know how appealing that is. I certainly am not going to take the Nats, but I don't know if I want this guy. If I wanted to bet A's first, let's see what Ronnie says. Maybe Ronnie knows. He says, as an A's fan, I'm looking forward to see this kid pitch. Oh, yeah, man. Ed says Purdue is going to lose tonight, but is not willing to take Penn State minus 3.5. Christian James says the situation is ideal. No fans to get in his head. I don't know. It's. I get it, Christian, but I mean, if there's, let's say there's 5,000 fans there, and then you clearly hear your family cheering, you're clearly embarrassed by your mom screaming for you.
Yeah, I would rather have there be a lot of fans than very little fans.
I think so too. Just so you can you will all you
can hear my nasally voice if there's no one there. If there's a lot of people there, you won't hear me calling you a cocksucker as you give up runs. So
I don't know if I want the A's first 5, but I certainly won't be on the other side. I guess it just comes down to that. I cashed on the under yesterday. I'm not going to go right back to him today. And Wager Meter says it's a traditional pass game. Ken Waldichuk McCockner, says Space Guard Ghostman.
Man, Daby's setting him up. Stabby is setting himself up for a stake bet right now. I just want to mention that as well.
I'm interested.
We'll talk about that game tomorrow. And I'll be going to that game on Saturday, but let's just say this: Daby is setting himself up for a stake bet.
There's brothers and bets in the house. Coke and Devil Folk says people sleeping on the A's pitcher. I agree. When you read out the stats, you want to bet on them. It's just that simple. You want to back them, and the Nats aren't monsters against lefties.
Well, Jim, this will give you a little push. I'm gonna go ahead and take Oakland first 5 money line at minus 110. For me, it really was being worried about Kenny Waldichuk here. And, you told me a lot about him. If he's got that bully Alek Manoah mindset, if I look at him and he looks like he's going to take my lunch money, then I would rather bet on him than the Panamanian Paulo Espino.
He doesn't get up to the Manoah bully yet.
No, Alek Manoah, if I ever watch him pitch, I'll just throw my wallet on the field. Just take it.
A's first 5 plus 104 at Pinnacle.
That sounds about right.
Okay. Let's move on. Stella Girl plus 108 at Circa. Thank you, Stella Girl.
That's sickening. Bovada. It usually makes me feel better when I'm getting a shit odds on Bovada compared to somewhere else anyway. So
okay, let's roll on. 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 90-39. 45-23 on the road at the New York Mets, 83-48, 44-21. R2D2 Finland says, what are your thoughts on the Tigers and the under? We stayed off that game, and offensively, the two teams have been quite a bit better lately, but I can understand why you'd want to trust the pitchers. And with that combination, we just stayed off of it. But let's talk about the big game on the card, Dodgers, Mets, Citi Field in Queens, New York. Yesterday was a lot of fun watching these two teams go at it. And here you have Clayton Kershaw, who's not appeared in a game since August 4th because of lower back pain. Didn't bother going out on a rehab start.
Fuck it.
It's so funny that he does that. So that means that he's got to rebuild his arm strength. That means he's not going to go over 70 pitches.
I thought the same exact thing. I said, all right. I literally wrote return from back. No rehab ? But then that's beneath him. No, this is his rehab start. I think he goes 3-5 innings max. I would be a little surprised if he goes 5 innings. But I seem to always fade the Dodgers. And when I fade the Dodgers, you know who's on the other side seemingly all the time? Mr. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day on the Dodgers. And he usually turns out on the right side of that too. So shout out to Ronnie, my man. But I'll tell you right now, I've got a little double up spot here. I'll tell you that.
I'm very excited to hear that. Ron does a really good job of backing the Dodgers when the price is legitimate. Like he seems to always find them when they're around minus 140 kind of a thing and backing them with confidence. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, we fucked up, Jim. We fucked up. We should have told Daby to stick around. We fucked up. We don't have a friend in the family. No.
Good. What a relief.
Fuck.
I hate betting it. I used to love parlays, but now that I have a decent bankroll, I just it was the only thing I was caring about yesterday too. I'm at the park with the kids, and I'm like, they're like, put your phone down. But I'm like,
yeah, you texted me. That was a huge out. I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now, Jim. It's very fun. Jimmy likes sending me out of context text messages, and I have to put the pieces together. It's like playing detective.
Well, we have the Dodgers being backed by our Ron Crawford. I'm good. We need a break. We need to take a day off of and friends and family here. We
Well,
go back.
The family is going to be electric, so I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we got Babano there for that. All right, let's talk about this line history here, and a huge move to the Dodgers. They opened up at -128, and I'm sure a lot of cappers, crunch the numbers like Ron Crawford, and they're like, well, this is the side. Open up -120. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. It's the opposite. They open up at -144. They get up to -146. They're now at -128. So the opposite, a huge move to the New York Mets. My apologies, you guys. Big move to the Mets. Mets open up at +133. They're now at +118. This total opened up at 8 and dropped to 7.5. So the market is telling us that Bassett is the one who's going to have a really good start. Coming off a 7-6 win at home versus the Rockies, won 7 in the third, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 K1 walk. God, he's had a good season. What a great pickup for these guys. 11-7, 3.34 ERA, 1.13 WHIP. At home, he's even quite a bit better than he's been on the road. 4-5, 2.75 ERA, 2.24 opponents batting average. Dodgers versus righties last 30, 271, 827. Mets versus lefties, they don't hit them, and that's why I trusted Tyler Anderson enough for that first 5 under, and I was so confident in that first 5 under, although I did sweat out a couple of bats. 218, 649 OPS, Mets versus lefties. Dodgers bullpen, 2.12 ERA, 0.84 WHIP. There's Soulful Striker in the house. Great to see you. Mets bullpen, 4.24 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. Let's just take a look at the cash flow and see if it correlates with all this love for the New York Mets. There's slight line value, 10% line value on the Mets, maybe a little less, maybe 8,007 tickets in. 43% of tickets, 47% of cash on the Mets. Then 53% of tickets, 91% cash on the under. It's moved from 8 to 7.5. Double up time for young Jose Zenyatta Bouquet. Take it away.
I'm on the Mets train. Do it, Kershaw off an IL. And if he does do it, I think he'll do it for 3-5 innings, maybe. I'm not a fan of the Dodgers bullpen. They've fucking pitched their ass off. Let me tell you, in the first 2 games of the series, it was like 3-4 in that first game, and I was like, oh, great, we've got that over locked down. Over 8, bullpen shut it down, nothing there. Yesterday was 2-1, more bullpen shutting down. Gonna bet against it today, and we're gonna see if that bullpen wears down here. I think Kershaw goes 5 max. I'm on their first 5 team total over 1.5 at -110, and I'm on their full game team total over 3.5 +110 for the New York Mets.
Wow. Domi Gun Ricci says, I've been listening. Good time to join. He's on the under 4 first 5, but the over 7.5 full game.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Johnny Gunn says, if we can get first 5 under 4, I think it's the play. Okay. Sorry. Hit me with your official picks here once again.
Team total first 5 for the Mets over 1.5 -110, super low. How about a 2-0 first 5 there? And then team total for the full game is 3.5 at +110.
Interesting.
Yep. And Dami saying a little wind, beautiful weather, low 80s. Ottavino went yesterday. I assume we probably don't see Otto, but Diaz only threw 9 pitches in a lovely performance after. I think his name's Timmy the Trumpet. I don't fucking remember. But the guy did the live performance of his walkout. That was also electric as well. I hope he's there for this last game as well.
Wow. Little wind. Yeah, Domi's right. A little wind. It's 11.6 miles per hour. Slightly in, right to left. Becomes more in as the game goes on. Stays around 11.6, 11.5. Interesting. First 5 team total over 1.5 for Jose on the Mets, and full game team total over 3.5. Ron Crawford says Mets don't hit left-handed pitching, period. I agree. I just don't know what Kershaw's going to give you. Jose, why do you dislike this Dodgers bullpen so much?
I think it's maybe a vividness bias of just watching them always fold and capitulate in the postseason. I see the regular season monsters. When it comes to the postseason, I always see the Dodgers bullpen fold. I'll pull up their list. I mean, it doesn't help when you're closing games with the fucking guy you pick up from the Mets in the waiver wire deadline shit. That's what they did in game 1 to close victory there. Kimbrel, obviously not really someone that I trust. Is he? I'm pretty sure he's going to be available today. I just want to make sure my shit's together. It's just no one in that bullpen really just worries me. I mean, Broussard Gratterall throws 102, whatever, but it's always seems very hittable. It's just no one in that bullpen really scares me. I'll just be honest. Like, it's just there's not a Edwin Diaz in there they can just give the ball to and no problem. Blake Trinan coming back soonish. He was really good, but he always can have his blow up starts, and he's a 40-year-old man. Just again, no one in that bullpen that really like scares me, worries me. If they throw anyone in that bullpen, I could always see them giving up a couple runs.
I find this game extremely difficult. The idea that I just don't know what Kershaw's going to give. And because of that, I'm hesitant. And then Chris Bassett's been quite good. But, you know, the Rockies got to him last start, and the Dodgers are hitting 271, 827 OPS versus righties. And when the Dodgers are at the plate and they see Chris Bassett on the mound, they're going to think, what a relief. Because DeGrom was really hard. So,
except for my man Mookie Betts, a.k.a. Mucky Betts.
Whew. Okay. So Tommy Gunn says they have the Kershaw prop at 4.5. Same with Bassett. Coke and Devil Folk says under no other way. And, you know, the market has followed that. You have the total going from 8 to 7.5 and a huge amount of cash towards it. And then you have this cash-wise, you have the Dodgers here with 56% of the tickets, 51% of cash, and a big move towards the Mets. This all makes me uncomfortable. I guess I would bet the Mets here. I guess at this price, risk reward, which is kind of changed. I guess I would bet the Mets here. But God, did you ever want to fade the Dodgers? I mean, but I've not handled the Dodgers well at all. This is not the first year this has happened with me. I see them as a big favorite. I don't take them on the run line. When they're at an affordable price, I don't seem to be on them either. I just seem to fuck them up. But I think I can understand why you want to back the Mets here. And Ron Crawford is not off a loss. Okay, let's move on. I'll leave just having slight interest on the Mets. And I have slight interest on the Mets. I do. And maybe I'll get there. Let's just see what the price would be for me. A full game and, 9 pitches with Diaz is nice and helpful. Plus 115. It's not bad. Cheshire Cat saying feeling the same way as me about the Mets. Oh, do I want to fade the Mets? Oh, I feel you. Sorry. I feel what you're saying. Okay, let's move on to 6:10 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles 68-61, 31-37 on the road at the Cleveland Guardians 68-60, 33-26 at Homer Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. The new member of my starting rotation, Kyle Bradish, coming off a beautiful start at the Astros. 8 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 6 Ks, 2 walks, and 2-0 win at the Astros. This happens every year, and remember it for next year. We cashed so much off Tristan McKenzie last year when he was down in the minors for 6 weeks. He came back and he wanted to stay in the show, and he had the talent to do that. Kyle Bradish, same deal. 6 weeks in the minors, he came back, and if you've backed him on a few of these spots, he made a ton of money. I didn't back him against the Astros, but there's Zick Schnizzle says I lean Orioles in the first 5 under. That is his Guardians in play here. On the road, Bradish has been better than he's been at home. 2-1, 4.79 ERA, 259 opponents batting average. Shane Bieber's, we've been saying Gaussman was the second best pitcher in the American League. It's probably Bieber. He's been so good of late. 8-7, 3.02 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. His last start, another thing of beauty. It was a 3.2 extra inning loss, but he went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, just 1 was earned, 9 strikeouts, 0 walks. At home, a little worse. He's been on the road, but he's just been so good overall. Orioles aren't hitting righties. Guardians aren't hitting righties. Guardians are hitting worse. 236, 634 OPS versus righties. Orioles bullpen starting to pitch a little better after a bump in the road. Guardians bullpen being so good. Tommy Gunn, by the way, is also on that Mariners under 7.5. Ixnizzle says, I love this first 5 under. That will more than likely make my card. By the way, Ron Crawford says Dodgers trend active since 2021 after scoring 1 run or less the previous game are 16-2. On the money line and run line. Johnny Gunn says, who's better, McKenzie or Bieber? I think McKenzie's got better stuff. But if it was one baseball game, I would send Shane Bieber out there personally. Let's see what we're talking about line history wise in this spot. We have at Pinnacle opening up with the Orioles at plus 164. They're now plus 158. 6-cent move towards them. From a total look, it opened up at 7.5, minus 117 to the under. Now it's minus 115 to the under. Okay. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this Baltimore-Cleveland. Who would have thought it'd be this deep in the season and we care so much about Baltimore playing Cleveland? 6,973 tickets in. 60% of the tickets are on Cleveland, but just 50% of the cash. So there is some sharp money coming in on Bradish. Then 40% of the tickets are on the over and 91% of the cash. Wow. Big bets coming in on the over. Throwing me for a loop. Take it away, Jose, Zinniata, Lamb Chop, Bouquet, Orioles, Guardians.
I'm on that first 5 under train with everyone else. First 5 under 4, minus 115. This is one of those numbers that scare, like I mentioned earlier, scares me a little bit. It was a 7.5 earlier with Gilbert and Eddie, and it was a 4 first 5. I'm doing that here. It's a little cheaper, minus 115. I like Bieber a lot. You know, I was a little worried, obviously, at the beginning of the year, velocity down. He's made do with it, figured his shit out. Still a great pitcher, better than Tristan McKenzie. Bradish, I give you all the credit because you were the stick in the wind there, saying Bradish is going to pitch well, et cetera, et cetera. Pitches well last time. I think he pitches well again against a Guardians team that's 26th right now against the righties, 76 weighted runs created plus. Orioles also not hitting righties the best right now in the last 2 weeks. They started out the month hot. Last 2 weeks, 23 weighted runs, or 23rd, 79 weighted runs created plus. So I believe in this first 5 under here. And if I had the stones to eat the juice, it'd be a plus 1.5 here for the Orioles at minus 135.
Yeah. First 5 under 4, minus 110 at Pinnacle. I just find it very interesting that 91% of the cash is on the over. And it's not because the bullpens are vulnerable. It means they think one of these pitchers is going to get touched. And if it's more likely Bradish. All of that makes me extremely uncomfortable. It looks like this will be a stay-off game for me. Jose, first 5 under 4. Mr. Always Profits is under first 5. I like it here, but it seems like a trap. You have every right to be concerned with all that money on the over. I am. And, we got college football. Do I even have an afternoon bet in baseball? Yeah, I got the Royals team total over 3.5. Maybe on the A's first 5 with the Ken Waldichuk. So I've got enough action here. I might move on the Mets. I'm not going to move on the Mets after that stat from Ron Crawford. And even if the Mets win, I know that Ron Crawford helps me way more. Real Sports Bets is backing Bieber. Cleveland is a bet on team the next month and a dark horse to win the American League. Guardians minus 1.5 plus 115. I would love that. I would love it to be in October and see Progressive Field filled. I
disagree. I'd like to see the Rogers Center filled personally.
Well, of course, I'd rather see that. But
no, that's not what you said. You are a big Guardians, Indians lover. That's what you love. You still got your Chief Wahoo hat back there. We can see it.
I have $0 bet on the Guardians. I have 1,150 bet on the Jays. So I just feel like I'm gonna lose there. I love the downtown stadium right there. I love that stadium. Our stadium sucks, but it is downtown. Mr. Always Profit says, I think I'm going to take the -1 Guardians here. Johnny Gunn says, line isn't moving to the over, though. Books think it stays under. Let's go back to that line history because that's a very interesting point here. Yeah, the under was -117. Now it's -115, so really no movement. Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? They're offering that with no vig at all on the over. But the public's sort of on the under.
These Thursdays are always tough days, travel days, low amount of games. So books and stuff can really focus in on those games. So I find these to be Thursdays to be extremely difficult. Fridays are typically, I think, my most successful days, actually. So
I've turned the corner on Fridays. It used to be a tough day for me just because of being tired from the week, but I've turned the corner here. Let's move on to 7:10 p.m. East. I think it's because it's the summertime, really. In the dead of fucking winter, when I barely go outside in the summer, but when I don't know.
It's funny when you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to go out for 7 months, Kirsten." And I was like, "Oh wow, that was me this past whole 6 months of baseball."
Yeah, no, it's been fun watching your whole season go down. You've taken a lot of pressure and you've handled it well. Let's move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers 58-71, 30-33 on the road to the Boston Red Sox, 63-68, 31-34 at home. We're at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. We have Glenn Otto, whom I love, and Rich Hill, whom I love. Rich Hill's last start at the Rays. Obviously, I wasn't on him. Hard to get it back. Wasn't he spectacular?
It made me. If your children are watching, please cover there. It made me come in my pants. It made me come in my pants repeatedly. It was magnificent. The best pitching performance of a Red Sox player this year, and it's not even one of the complete games. It was just because he was actually pitching, getting the Rays off balance is great. That being said, I'm absolutely fading him today.
Well, these Rangers are destroying lefties, and part of the reason why Moose Money was so confident in that over in Arizona, Philadelphia was because the Phillies were destroying lefties, and the Rangers are close to where the Phillies are. Rangers last 30, 294, 841 OPS versus lefties. Rangers bullpen 3.43 ERA, 1.15 whip. They've really turned it around after getting rid of Woodward, whom I've always liked. He was a Blue Jay. Red Sox bullpen last 30 days, now a 6.13 ERA, Jose, a 1.57 whip.
Confirmed, not ideal.
No. Red Sox versus Rockies, 268, 726 OPS. Glenn Otto, coming off a 7-6 win at home versus the Tigers, it did not look very good. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. I don't know if he's got it. He's always been better on the road than at home. When you play in a pitcher's ballpark, I think that's a red flag. You can't take care of business, at home. 2-4 on the road, though. 3.53 ERA, 2.11 opponent's batting average. Rich Hill had been so bad at home all year. 5.54 ERA, even after that stellar performance. 283 opponent's batting average.
That one just feels like bad luck. It doesn't feel like it's just like a Fenway Park thing. It's just more like it's just unfortunate that he gets touched up at home.
Yeah, I can understand it. It doesn't really make sense. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have these Rangers opening up at plus 138. They're now plus 151. So there's been a 15-cent move to the Red Sox, minus 150 to minus 165. From a total perspective, it opened up at 9.5 and it's dropped to 9. So they're expecting another nice performance from Rich Hill. Big Dick Mountain. Let's see if the cash flow correlates with all of that. 6,191 tickets in. 40% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on the Rangers. Strange. 47% of tickets, 80% cash on the under. It's dropped from 9.5 to 9. Rant says over at Fenway. Coke and Devil Folk says Boston healthy minus 1.5. Take it away, Jose Bouquet, Rangers, Red Sox.
I feels like I'm setting myself up for a lot of pain tonight because all of my bets are going against the market or I'm betting into the traps, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see how tonight goes. But I'm on Texas team total over 4 at even money here. Rich Hill, great job last outing. I don't think he can do it again, personally. It'll be interesting to see that. I'll say this. Bullpen has been absolute garbage fire shit, but they kind of flipped it a little bit. Salamora out. I forgot who the other person it was Austin Davis, I believe, out. They bring in a young arm in, Caleb Ort back in, and I'm like, whatever. But I don't believe in the Red Sox still. I think Rich Hill can give up 4 runs on his own. And if he doesn't, he goes another good outing today. I think the bullpen by themselves can give up 4 runs. They used Garrett Whitlock yesterday. He won't be available. I think it'll probably be John Scribner. I can never say his name correctly. So I think the Rangers might not win today. I was really surprised to be a minus 170. I was really surprised at that. I think the Rangers are a good price today. I wouldn't bet them to win. I just like their team total over 4.
Did you say that was even money?
Yeah, even money from
that's the best line available. They're at 3.5 at Pinnacle, but at minus 137. Wow. Schnizzle says put that on the no say list for Jose. Yeah, that was not what I was expecting. I didn't expect that.
Well, sometimes you have to cut out the middleman. There's no more beating around the bush sometimes. When something makes you feel the way that Rich Hill made me feel, you just have to come out and say it. These are, you know, Jim, I'll say it. These are one of the moments where I'm glad that my parents don't watch what I do and don't understand the English language to the fullest extent.
My dad has never watched a single episode.
Yeah, very relatable there. That's very relatable. Just two guys trying to seek the affection of their parents. Betty with the bag.
Texas team total over 4 plus 100. So Rich Hill brought you great satisfaction, and
physically and emotionally, yeah.
And then you fade them 5 days later.
Yep, that's gambling, baby. That's the cold business, cold world.
Lee Davis just played Espino over 4.5 Ks at plus 133. I do love that. I do love that about gambling. I do fucking love that about gambling. I don't know what to do here. The market is expecting Rich Hill to have another strong start, but I do not. The Rangers are just destroying lefties. I think your look is strong. I think your look is strong with the Rangers team total over, because then you take Glenn Otto out of it. But then the issue I have, and the reason why I think I have to stay off of it, is because why would all the money be coming in on the under and all the money coming in on Glenn Otto? Now, the market is moving towards the Rangers, but their gamblers think Otto's going to have a nice start. Okay, so Mr. Always Profit says one thing what he learned is you can't fade a team with another bad team. I agree your Red Sox suck, but this isn't the game to fade them with the Rangers, in my opinion. Johnny K likes the Rangers. Okay.
And the Red Sox are good against non-AL East opponents. I'll give them that.
And Domi likes that team total overlook. I like it too. I guess I need a little bit more time with it. Which brings us to the next game. The next game is Colorado Rockies at Atlanta Braves, and we've reached Matty Ice's taint play of the day. Braves team total over 5.5 at minus 105 for Matty Ice. Let's go. Let's go. The line is 3 here with the Braves team total over. The look, there has been a 3-cent move to the Braves, opening up at minus 370, now minus 373. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 8, minus 106. There's been a 3-cent move to the over. So very little movement in this Braves spot. Let's see if anything correlates here. There is 25 or maybe 20% line value on the Colorado Rockies, 18% of the tickets, but 66% of the cash. I mean, they played the Braves tough in this series. 39% of tickets and 66% cash on the under. Interesting. I mean, I know that these games have gone under at Truist Park in the last couple days, but does anybody trust Chad Kuhl, or especially on the road? Let's take a look here at the weather. 88 Fahrenheit, 4.2 miles per hour in, drops to 4.8 miles per hour. Space Card Ghostman, no, that is a different. That was a different Matty Ice down in Costa Rica.
Wow, a lot of Matty Ices. Now I know 3 of them.
And that Matty was a good friend, Matty DeCero. I loved him. He was the the only person I had anything in common with in all of Costa Rica, and I like him. And he has twins, and probably any day now his wife is going to, or his girlfriend's going to have twins, so he's going to be a father here very soon. Chad Kuhl going up against Spencer Strider. Chad Kuhl 6-7, 5.17 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, 108 innings, 47 walks, 80 Ks, 18 home runs. In his last start, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. At the Mets, it was pretty good, 4 Ks, 1 walk. But on the road this year, he's been so bad. It's been strange that he pitches so well at home. This isn't a long-standing Rocky pitcher. I don't know why he pitches well in the thin air. On the road, 3-4, 6.02 ERA, 286 opponents batting average. Spencer Strider is just a monster. 8-4, 2.87 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. Last start, 11-4 win at the Cardinals. He completely shut them down. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 1 walk. At home, he's even better than he is on the road. 4-1, 2.54 ERA, 201 opponents batting average. Rockies aren't hitting righties, and they have an okay average, but no power whatsoever. 258, 674. Braves versus righties, 262, 770 OPS. Rockies bullpen 5.23 ERA, 1.47 WHIP, while the Braves bullpen is 3.59 ERA, 1.33 WHIP over the last 30 days. Those are all last 30-day stats. Take it away here. We have Matty Ice, taint play today on the Braves team total over. What do you think here, Jose?
I can't even talk about this game without coughing. Jesus. Past game, you guys know where my sensibilities lie. If I had to pick a side, it'd be Rockies, because no team should be at minus 300, not even the Atlanta Braves. Past game for me, keeping it short, sweet, and simple.
Why did you get off that angle that was succeeding and still kind of succeeding? Is it because it's really tough?
I'm pussy, Jim. I'm pussy. That's why. That's the only reason why. It's a difficult thing to do consistently.
It's a hard thing to do.
It is extremely difficult, and the heart breaks. I'll tell you what. I can lose a minus 110 and be perfectly, whatever. The way that these plus 280s, plus 320s fall sometimes are just absolutely demoralizing and brutal. Like, for example, it was the Brewers Pirates, I believe it was, the other day with Corbin Burns. Burns gets touched up. Cruise Missile hits a 3-run home run to win you the first 5, but you lose the full game because of a Keston Hurl walk-off. And now you do come out winning 1 point some units when you bet both sides of it on that case. But it's just stuff like that seems to happen so often, and it hurts quite frequently. And I'll say this. I say it every time it comes up, and I'll keep saying it. It is a very profitable angle that I think most people should do, because no team should be minus 300. You just have to have the balls the size of fucking coconuts to do it, and the record above 20 units to have the balls to do it as well. So I should be doing it. You're completely right. But at the end of the day, it just falls down to one thing, Jim, and it is I am pussy.
Look, you're not the only one. It's a really hard bet to make. And I was just thinking when you were saying that, I was like, God, with my locals credit, why would I still be scared? I can understand when you're pressing a button and it's your money right there in your account, right there. But when you're dealing with a local that's credit, I mean, why am I still scared even then? Why? And I can understand that when you got the big dog, it's because you think of the swing. The swing is so monstrous. It was like that for me with puck lines. Like, I had a night, puck line night, where I had 8 bets on the puck line. This is when I stopped doing puck lines, basically. It was like 2 years ago. And I lost 7 of the bets. I believe I think so. I lost 7 of the bets, and I won all 8 games. And at that point, I was like, it was a huge loss. $200 a pop. I mean, it was just a huge loss. It was over $1,000 loss. And I won all 8 games. And I was like, it just hurts so badly. I was like, oh, I can't keep doing this. But my record's much better when I focus solely on the puck lines. And so it's hard to.
Yeah, no, it's emotionally just trying. And I think it was Dat Fan. Hold on, let me scroll up here. Ronnie Ambergi actually said it. If you take the plus 2.5 still, you're still making good money there. And I definitely don't besmirch people that take that. Like, for example, I don't remember what the game was. I took a +1 first 5 at decent, like it was like minus 110, something like that. I'm pretty sure it cashed. Like, stuff like that you can take advantage of. I just ultimately, whenever I see these minus 300s, I am always looking for a way to bet the other side.
No, I understand this. Like, the psychology behind what we do is very difficult, and it'd be interesting to have just a gambling shrink, who only just helped you with your, that might be a role for me in like 10 or 15 years, just to do that.
You are the shrink. You're listening to people.
Yeah. Well, my mom and stepdad are shrinks, so I was around fucking family meetings all my fucking youth. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers 69-60, 34-34 on the road at the Arizona Diamondbacks, 61-67, 34-32 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Roof will be closed. Lee Davis says tequila is my gambling shrink. What's happened to me, Lee, now is that I'm getting older. I'm 42 and
washed up.
Maybe it's having young children or something, but I'm starting to worry a little bit about the length of my life. And that's why I've stopped drinking Sunday to Thursday. And it's no problem. Like, I've had this little bit of Captain Morgan here, spiced rum. I've had this on my desk all week. Not touched it. No need to touch it. Now actually touching the bottle makes me want to drink it. Brandon Woodruff going up against Merle Kelly. Woodruff 9-3, 3.31 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, 108 2/3, 132 Ks, 32 walks, 13 home runs. In his last start, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 10 Ks, 1 walk. in a 7-0 win at home versus Cubs. Too often this year, my eye test with Brandon Woodruff tells me he is just an elite pitcher. But look at those stats on the road. 4-3, 4.34 ERA, 260 opponent's batting average. He faced the Cubs back-to-back starts. In the second start, he was at home, and he completely shut them down. He cannot be trusted on the road. I think it's fair to say that he just can't be trusted on the road. Merle Kelly, on the other hand, 11-5, 2.97 ERA, 1.13 whip, 157 and 2/3, 135 Ks, 48 walks, 10 home runs. In his last start, 7 1/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, 1 walk in a 10-5 win at the White Sox.
Oh, wow.
I think
Billy's
that
a PhD.
Say what?
Sorry, no, Billy has a PhD in counseling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Billy Friedrich. Let me tell you, my psychiatrist counselor lady told me I was very emotionally aware about my feelings. Definitely does not help. So I would love to sit down with your mother and have a chat with her. That'd be great.
She's available. She's available.
All right, we'll talk
home,
about that.
Yeah, no, she's down. At home, 3-4, 3.16 ERA, 246 opponents batting average. The Brewers versus righties last 30, 226, 725 OPS, numbers dropping like we expect to do, like Dom Ricci predicted. Dom Ricci wrote the script of the Milwaukee Brewers this year. The Diamondbacks versus righties, 261, 749 OPS. They're rolling nice. Brewers bullpen 3.78 ERA, 1.25 whip over last 30. Watching Hader not be able to get a strike, find the strike zone is hilarious.
That's someone that needs some fucking counseling.
Yeah. Diamondbacks bullpen last 30. Is it worse than the Red Sox? It is. 6.26 ERA, 1.45 whip.
Thank you. I'm glad that we established that the line is be better than the Red Sox bullpen.
My God, Abel A, I only drink when I'm grilling. I would be grilling every single night if that was the case for me. I don't drink Sunday to Thursday now, which is going to change, obviously, when I have my Sunday, Monday live bet streams for NFL.
Yeah, I have to drink this weekend, too, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Take it away. Oh, let's take a look at the line history here. My bad for this last spot on the card. This is the Brewers. I don't know what to do with Merrill Kelly here, and I think I can start saying, well, I think Woodruff is going to get touched. There's been a huge move to the Diamondbacks, 17-cent move. Open up plus 138, now plus 121. From a total perspective, they open up at 8. They're now at 7.5 and juice to the under. So they're expecting a nice start here from both of these pitchers. Yes, I do, Mr. Always Profit, but I don't want to have it around here. I don't want, my daughter knows everything and asks every question. So instead, I'm just an edible machine these days. Take it away.
I got a very funny text message from you about that the other day.
Yeah, I just love it. Brewers, Diamondbacks, Jose Bouquet. Final game on the card. Take it away.
Final game on the card. Final play on the card. Arizona first 5 team total over 1.5 at minus 105 for me. Woodruff seems to be a little bit of a home road splits guy. Yeah. Always seems to do a little better at home. Got to just go ahead and take the Diamondbacks here. 2 runs, short price. I enjoyed that. I kind of thought about an over here too, but I like Merrill Kelly. I don't know exactly what we're going to get from him. So I took that 1.5 for the Diamondbacks here. A low price, low total. And I kind of like it. Keep it short.
And what did you get? What was your price?
Minus 105 for me.
Oh, that is a better number than Pinnacle. Pinnacle minus 112. That means that it's likely to hit. This is all telling. Okay, I just want to take a quick look at the game-by-game performances from Merrill Kelly before I trust the splits and trust that Woodruff just isn't that good. God, I'm so nervous fading Woodruff. Even saying it out loud makes me fucking nervous. But he just does not look good on the road for whatever reason. Let's go through his game log. So the last start, Merrill Kelly did not look good. It was on the road. So did not look good on the road. His last home start was against the Cardinals, who were just ripping the leather off the ball. So 3 earned runs in 6. That's fine. Then 3 earned runs in 5 against Pittsburgh. That's a bit of a question mark. 2 earned runs in 7 against Colorado. Then he completely shut down the Giants. Do we have any concern about the innings pitched? Let's go over to his career here. Any concern there? Last year, he threw 158. He's at 157.2. In 2019, he threw 183 in a third, so no concern there. JP says over to the Diamondbacks is tempting now. Well, give me a price difference on so Diamondbacks first 5 is plus 115. Full game, they're plus 121. That's not quite enough, but I'm going to move on it. I'm going to take the Diamondbacks first 5 at the plus price. Billy Friedrich says Russell Wilson just got $245 million, extension 165 guaranteed. Lit Picks is on Diamondbacks money line plus 117. Brewers have not been winning on the road. And Dab Fenn said just looked at Brewers bats versus Kelly. And look at TJ says I have a very strong play on Milwaukee tonight. What am I supposed to do with his home road splits, TJ? And can you give me an idea why you're not? Because I hate fading Woodruff. Let's go. You know what? Maybe this is a no play for me. Let's go over to the God. I thought it was going to be. Let's go over to the batter versus pitcher stats before we put a bow on this show. It was a really fun start of the show. Talking Oklahoma State with you, Jose. I enjoyed that very, very much. Let's go over to the batter versus pitcher. And I'd love to hear why TJ just is not concerned with the splits, because I haven't been all year, and I've trusted Woodruff, and he's been good to me. Against Kelly, who am I worried about? Colton Wong, 2 for 5? No. Hira, 1 for 5, but that's a solo shot. Adames, 2 for 3 with a homer. I mean, the only bats I'm worried about, Rock and Rowdy, Tellez, 0 for 3. Urias, 2 for 9. That doesn't worry me that much. Against Woodruff, look, you got these guys have all hit him. Christian Walker is 1 for 4 with a jack. Josh Rojas is 3 for 6 with a jack. Ketel Marte is 2 for 7. And, I think these numbers are enough. Mr. Always Profits says first 500 for me. I believe in Woodruff. TJ, give me some more information. At this point, I'm going to move on the Diamondbacks first 5. All right, let's review all action on today's card. And don't forget, Jose Bouquet hammering these late games again today at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Say what, my man?
Bobano joining me, so it won't just be me regurgitating this stuff. So you can get Bobano's takes in the late games as well.
TJ says because those splits are so weighted to early season with an injury, he allowed 7, 4, and 5 first 3 road games. Since his return, he's allowed 7 earned runs and 5 road starts. Wow, that's big. Oh, and Razor Sharp Picks moving at Saratoga. A double, race 2 and race 3.
Just a quick note, I'll say that the Arizona Diamondbacks have been hitting the ball pretty surprisingly well as well. 8th, 105 weighted runs created plus in the last 2 weeks against righties.
Sorry, I was pulling up my HPI here for the horses. See what.
Take your time. Only 2 runs is what I'm hoping for here. So I like I said, I wanted to take that first 5 over or the full game over here, but I couldn't get there at the end of the day. So that first 5 team total 2 is the best look for me there.
And our guy, Razor Sharp Picks, is using the 1 and the 7 in the second race, which pops off in 5 minutes, and the 6 in race 3. Also, our guy, Timothy Murray, his mare, who's just spectacular, Antigone, is running against the boys. I believe it's race 6. She's the favorite against the boys today at Woodbine. Race 6 or race 7. I'll have to go over that. Okay. That was interesting. Let me just go over Woodruff one more time because I really like him. And I get caught up with those road stats. This is a nice park for a pitcher to pitch in. So let's go. His last road start, he allowed 2 earned runs and 5 2/3 against the Cubs. He allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, and 6 1/3 against the Pirates. And these are not strong lineups but they are divisional. Let's go to the one before that. Against Boston, he shut them down at Fenway, 1 earned run and 6. Against the Giants, 2 earned runs and 5 2/3. Shut down the Pirates. Well, if that's the case, at 1.54 runs per game for Woodruff and 11 starts, then is this moving towards the under Let's go back to where the cash is. 30% of tickets on the under, 54% of the cash. 50. So we have the public 70% of tickets on the over. And didn't they move this total from 8 to 7.5? Yeah. That tells me that's going to go under. And that's the first 5 is going to go under. I'd prefer to do it this way. I don't want to fade Woodruff, and I'm just going to take the first 5 under. Let's just see what I'm being offered here quickly. Sorry to do this here, work in front of you guys like this, but that's what this show's all about. First 5 under 3.5 at plus 105. Or do I turn that into a 3? First 5 under. Okay. All right. Kelly's 2 of 3. 3 of last 4 allowed 3 runs or more. Those 2 were against Pitt and the White Sox. Yeah, but that White Sox start was on the road, and he just seems to I trust him at home. Okay, let's move through all action here. Let's move through all action. We have Central Michigan, Oklahoma State. Jose's on the Central Michigan Chippewas at plus 22 at minus 111. I'm going to be on the under, and I'm going to bet that as soon as the show is over. My first college bet of the season. Pitt Panthers, I'm on the first half and full game. Cab took the Panthers minus 7 at minus 120. Then Jose's on Ball State plus 37 at minus 117. I don't know if I'm going to take Tennessee first half. I need more time with that. Cab's on Penn State minus 3.5, and the college football spreadsheet play of the day from Ron Crawford is Penn State. Then Louisiana Tech, Missouri, we both stayed off. And Cab is on, and I am both on. We're both on Minnesota Golden Gophers first half. And you get that anywhere between minus 21.5 and minus 23.5. Much love, TJ. It's great to see you, my man. No worries. Then in MLB, we stayed off Mariners, Tigers. Royals team total over 3.5 is my first look. It pops off in 32 minutes. Then I'm going to take the A's first 5 with Jose. I'm going to take the A's first 5. It's hard not to be excited about Waldachuk. Really hard. The way he's just kind of blossoming right now. Maybe things have come too easy for him, but I don't see how that would have been the case because he moved organizations 4 starts ago, and then he drops his walk rate down to 3.8, and Fangraphs has him as the number 35 overall prospect in Major League Baseball and number 1 in the A's organization. That happened fast, and look at all the talent the A's have got. So I'm going to roll with Jose on that. Jose's on the Mets first 5 team total over 1.5, full game team total over 3.5. Those it looks I'm going to be cheering for heavy. I may move on the Mets. It's going to take me a little more time. Jose's on the first 5 under 4 and Orioles Guardians. I'd be on that same bet, but all the cash on the over. Then there was a good point made in the chat that if all the money's on the over, what is it? What did the line movement do there? Because we have. Let's just look at this one more time, and I apologize if it's
No, we love it.
30% of the tickets and 90% of the cash. It's just so strange. I got to stay off that. Dawn play. Any unders am I on? Texas team total over 4 for Jose, and I like that look. Matty Ice Braves team total over 5.5 is the taint play of the day. Spreadsheet play of the day is the Dodgers. And then Jose's on the first 5 team total over 1.5 for the D-backs. First 5. And I guess, Dawn play, I guess it's that first 5 under in Brewers, Arizona. That first 5 under 3.5 is plus 105. So I'll see what it's going to cost me for a 4. But I'm interested in that. Okay, that is our show. You guys are wondering if the friends and family is going to be down to 2 games. No, we only saved the friends and family for 3 games. I need a break from it. I need a day off for friends and family. It's I don't know why Why was it the only game I was looking at? Yes, it was just.
I don't know, because you're a degenerate. Why did I let my computer just die just now? Because I'm a dummy. These are just random things that we're just noticing. You're a degenerate. I'm a dummy. But what I am excited about, Jimmy, I'll say this. I'm excited to talk to your mom about all my feelings and emotions, and then she can tell you that I'm certifiably insane.
Oh no, I don't. She's also by the book, so I don't get to hear any of the client psychology.
Well, you're my dad, so I'll give you the privilege. I'll extend you. I'll sign the paperwork.
So that is a good question by Gas Report. Then why is that total still at 7.5? That's not moved at all. I would feel different if more of the, because still the public's on the under. It's just the big bets have come in on the over. 63% of tickets are on the under, but just 10% of the cash. If it was different, if this was sitting here with 65% of tickets on the over and 90% cash, I would go with you. Look, I'm not on the other side of it. Schnizzle is tailing the double that is popping off at Saratoga race. Is it on right? Oh no, I'm looking at race 3, and it's off. So let's see if our guy Razor can get his horses home. Razor was moving on the. What was Razor moving on here again? Razor had the 1 and the 7. His 7 Casalsa is sitting in second place. That opening quarter was 22.13 seconds, and he's trying to find space here in between the two horses, and here trying to run down the 2 Bronx Bomber, who's running very smoothly up front. The 7 is falling back. He's also on the 1. The 1's making a huge move. Ragtime Blues trying to get around this too. Ragtime Blues blows past. Ragtime Blues blows past. And the double is live for Razor Sharp Picks. I repeat, the double is live for Razor Sharp Picks. Great job, Razor. Okay, that is our show for today. Jose has Babano joining him at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be fun to hear Babano's takes on these afternoon games. Babano will be our host or our guest tomorrow, and he'll be breaking down college football, CFL football with us as well. So that will be a lot of fun. And then don't forget, we have prize picks starring Sharpie at 3:10, daily sesh at 4:20. But we also want you to know every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Gridiron Gamblers with myself and Andy Molitor, star of the Deep Dive podcast that he does with the Whale Capper. That is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern is our big NFL show. It starts next week, and we're very, very excited about it.
I'm excited to meet Andy. I still have not met Andy for this is your what's it called? I don't know, your backroom exclusives if you stay later to the end of the show. I never met Andy, so I'm excited to meet him.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really I'm really excited to see how he does. Of course, we track everybody. And don't forget about our Sunday NFL Pub Hub that we do every Sunday with a whole bunch of guests. And then Sunday night, you'll see me all lit up for Sunday night live betting football. But
I might join you guys for a little bit then.
I would like that.
Sunday will be an interesting game for me. I guess.
It's going to be a big one. 28-1 if the 6 comes home in race 3. Thank you for sharing that with us, Razor Sharp Picks. All right, much love, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Razor Sharp Picks, Nasty Nate, Space Guard, Ghostman, Ick, Schnizzle, Cheshire Cat, Johnny Guns, Billy, Friedrich, Mr. Always Profit, The Gas Report, Lucas, Ryan, Dom Play, Alex Gagnon, TJ, J Peasy. What a great group. Slow Jams, Arsenault. You guys are money in the bank. Thank you so much for your support. Dab Fen. Thank you guys all. Jose, great job producing as always, and love capping the card with you. That first game of the card was so much fun to talk about. You brought a lot of fun.
I went for like 5 straight minutes, huh? There was like a 2 minutes into it where I thought in my head, man, I'm talking for a long time. And then I just kept on going for another like 4 minutes.
I enjoyed it. It was very, very enjoyable. On behalf of Jeff Slaughter, everybody here at Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys for your support. Jose, my friend, will you leche us into the future?
Well, I brought this last video. We might as well play it, and we'll end it with this. Oklahoma State, it does things to me. It makes me feel things. And some people don't. Well, actually, I'm going to say a lot of people don't imagine me as an angry person, but I did say I wanted to fight Evan Longoria and Pablo Sandoval yesterday. And then everyone was saying why I was always so angry this morning. So I guess this just falls in line. Let's have a great day. Tomorrow's going to be fun. I'm going to guilt trip Jimmy into giving me some large speech because my birthday is on Sunday, and I cannot wait to see what Jimmy does for that. I'm going to ask Jimmy for some random birthday gift. I don't know what it will be. Maybe he'll come on, say, hey, plays, and make some fool of himself. I don't know who will happen, but it'll be a whole lot of fun. And just remember, guys, when you're betting on Oklahoma State, remember this smiling face and leche, los bookmakers.
What the fuck was that? Are you fucking kidding me?